How long on this, Tim? Okay, I'm just gonna shut the door. Okay, hang on. Nice guy. Yeah.
Dry.
Yeah. So there we are, that's Tom Alsop speaking after his innings of 87. Chris, you've played an awful lot of T20. How important is it you've got everybody in the side contributing?
I think it's just making sure that people step up at the right times, and I think throughout the competition what you've seen is that when they've needed it, they've had a performance, and it started very early on. I think the Gloucester game here, which we're kind of dead and buried, and then to get that result, that was John Simpson coming out and then playing a great innings. Finn Hudson-Prentice played really well as well. So what you've seen in each game is people put their hands up, and now you've kind of got a formula where you've got Harrison Ward comes in at the top, goes really hard, and I think that's really spread a lot of confidence down, and I think guys are coming in and playing with freedom and playing match-winning innings, which is what 2020 is all about.
The two umpires are making their way out to the middle. Jack Shantry, who you played against a few times, I guess, when he was playing for Worcestershire, and Hassan Adnan making his way out as well. We could talk throughout the day, but how much? I mean, it is a Sussex revival, Chris. I mean, you know, that in this I have to say, I've got to confess, I didn't see this coming in T20 cricket.
I'm just getting over the cold sweat from seeing Jack Shantry coming to the bottom end, and when he used to kind of wobble himself up the hill and bowl at 65 mile an hour, he used to kill me. But yeah, it is what's so impressive is the way they're doing it. They've kind of gone from pretty low to kind of being the front runners, which it's such a big difference. It's not been a gradual change, and I think that shows the work that Fabi's done. I think it shows the work the captains have done and the whole group, you know, the coaching staff. But probably the biggest thing, the senior players that have come in and the impact they've had. And I bumped into Danny Lamb and John Simpson, and those guys, you know, people probably weren't shouting from the rooftops when they came over, but I think they've added a huge amount to the squad, and I think that the jump in fortunes is down to a lot of that.
John Simpson, a player you'd have played against. I mean, he's terrific. We're already 3 championship hundreds. But I just break off, Chris, because we're about to get underway, and it's going to be Simon Harmer who's going to bowl the opening ball of the innings. Pretty much a pack. There's a few blue seats at the end of the ground, but the game is a sellout. And Harmer is going to bowl from the C end of the ground, bowling to Harrison Ward, who's having a good tournament. There's a slip in place, which is interesting. 7 men inside the circle. The two fielders who are outside the circle are Harmer. I can see there's almost a cow corner. I think they've got 8 men inside the circle here, Essex. Anyway, in comes Harmer around the wicket, comes in and bowls to Harrison Ward, who clubs that first ball away to backward point, and there is no run. You open the batting, Chris, do sort of your eyes light up a bit when a spinner comes on?
You can do, but you know, Harmer's a very experienced, very high quality 2020 campaigner we've seen over the years with Essex. But it's, yeah, I mean, you are certainly eyeing up those early boundary options.
As Harmer plays it into the offside, and again there is no run, so 2 dot balls to start off the Sussex innings. If you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey, myself Adrian Harms alongside the former Sussex opener Chris Nash. As in comes Harmer, bowls, Harrison Ward steps away and drills that one away through extra cover for 4. Good shot.
I think he's made such a difference. I think he didn't play the first 2 or 3, but what he's done is he comes in, he's got that intent from ball 1, and I think if you can get a couple of bounds in that first over, everything settles, the crowd get up, the opposition go onto the back foot, and I think whether he scores 20 off 10 or you know, a 50 or a 60, it's the impetus he gives you in that first 2 or 3 overs which makes a big difference.
Harmer again, right arm around the wicket, just off 4 or 5 paces in and bowls to Harrison Ward. Ward plays that down the onside of the track. Harmer goes running back to field and allows Ward to come through for a single. Sussex go to 5 without loss in the opening over. There's a lot of left-handers in this top 6, Chris, and we've got another one now with Daniel Hughes.
I think it's important. I think there's a lot of left-arm spinners are very successful in T20, especially in England. When you get to this stage of the season, pitches can be a bit more used, so I think having the number of left-handers and right-handers makes a real difference.
Hughes waits, in comes Harmer, bowls, and well, he's edged that away. Well, I presume he's edged it. It's run all the way down to the 3rd man boundary. Well, I can only assume that was a chance. If you only get one chance to have a look at it, they are signalled as run, so it came off the edge.
You were a bit confused about the slip, but I think it should have gone straight to him. I don't think he was really paying attention, to be honest.
Did it go between the keeper and the slip? It looked like it did, but that was a chance.
Well, yeah, 100%. And it looks like there's a bit of turn. I mean, it does look quite dry at the ends of this pitch, so there could be some turn.
Harmer in again, round the wicket, bowls to Hughes, who tucks that one nicely away through mid-wicket and picks up another single. So end of the opening over, bowled by Simon Harmer. Decent enough start for the Sharks. They are 10 without loss with both bats on 5.
It makes such a difference. Suddenly you're off and running. You know, sometimes if you have a couple of slow, first overs, then you lose a wicket. It can mount quite quickly, but just immediately. And they weren't big shots. Obviously, one was a half chance, but the team are off and running. Everyone settles down, and the next over, the seamer comes on. Cook's obviously a very good bowler, so they can have a little bit of a look now and actually get themselves in. I don't think Harrison Ward will wait too much time, but it just seems that these two have gone hard from the off, and it's really worked.
When you opened the batting for Chris, of course, at the other end for much of those years, you were alongside Luke Wright, who always seemed to go hard. Does that take a little bit of pressure off you as the other opener?
I think you've got to work together, and we used to have a lot of communication. I would go hard the first over, give him he was the best player, so my job was to kind of let him settle in a little bit, but yeah, it's all about communicating.
In comes Sam Cook, over the wicket, bowls to Hughes, who clips this one nicely away through mid-wicket. They've taken 1, they'll come back for the 2nd. Good running by Daniel Hughes. In fact, it's very much a feature of the innings yesterday, particularly John Simpson, who was saying it's his birthday. He was like a hair between the stumps yesterday, Chris.
36. I mean, he's fit as a 25-year-old. So, but again, he's a great example to all the young lads of how you can keep yourself fit, and the hunger he's got to play at 36 and come to a new club and do so well. It's been great.
Cook running in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, still a slip in place. He's in and bowls to Hughes, who plays exactly the same shot. This time it may go forward. No, it's going to be fielded just in front of the clock tower scoreboard. So a couple of nice shots, proper cricket shots as well from Daniel Hughes. He goes to 9 and Sussex 14 without loss. Yeah,
I think with Cook he's going to look to bang a length. He's not going to mix it up too much early, and it might be that that Hughes has gone, actually I fancy this guy. I'm going to look to get across my stumps and hit him over to the leg side. So generally speaking, I think you'll have bowlers that you think you can get hold of, and if you're working well as a pair, you'll say, I'll go after this one and I'll go after, someone else will go after the other one.
Cook in bowls, and Hughes covers up, plays to mid-wicket, just dabs it onto the leg side and picks up a comfortable single. Does Hughes, he goes to 10. The scoreboard's quick today. Sussex are 15 without loss in the 2nd over. Essex winning the toss here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey, electing to bowl first. Sussex, who qualified for the quarter-finals last night, and it's all about now, can they secure a home quarter-final? To do that, if they win 2 out of their last 3, i.e. this game, then Somerset next Thursday and Middlesex here on Friday, they will have a home quarter final. In comes Cook down the hill, bowls to Harrison Ward, who pulls that away. Is he going to get caught? No, it just bounces just in front of the fielder out there, who I think is Ethan Bosch, but it was pulled away for a minute. I thought it was going to be a chance. Was it one of those you should have gone for?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, they're always tough because you think they're going to fly at you, and then you kind of be on your back feet. So yeah, it was just one of those. He clothed it a bit, so it didn't quite make it. But I think you're saying about obviously getting a home quarter final is important, but it's the momentum. You know, they've had momentum. They've qualified early. Now it's about making sure they keep that momentum going into the quarterfinals.
In comes Cook, bowls to Hughes, who plays this down the ground. That's a lovely looking shot, better shot than I thought actually. I thought it was going straight to the fielder at mid-on. In fact, it's beautifully timed by Daniel Hughes. The ball runs up the hill and he picks up a boundary. Lovely shot by Daniel Hughes. And in this over, Chris, 3 proper cricket shots to pick up his runs. Yeah,
and again, you're seeing guys in form. I think Hughes has had a good tournament so far. I think all of the players have contributed regularly, so you're not seeing any of the guys in that top 5 or 6 kind of not having good tournaments. So everyone's in form, everyone's hitting the ball cleanly.
Cook in again, bowls to Hughes down the leg side, and that will be signalled a wide by umpire Hassan Adnam at the far end of the ground. Yeah, Daniel Hughes, 370 runs at 33. You take that for your overseas, Chris?
Definitely, and he does it in quite a quiet way as well. You don't really, doesn't come out guns blazing, but he accumulates his runs at a really good rate, kind of you don't really notice it too much. So I just think having someone like that up top, obviously with what Harrison's done as well, and then actually all of that top 5 and 6 have contributed. James Cole's obviously been a revelation this year, so it's everyone's had their opportunities and taken them.
Cooking again, the slipper's gone, comes in and bowls to Hughes, who's going to get runs, he's going to get a boundary. Well, that wasn't a great shot, but he's got a thick outside edge. The ball has gone where first slip might have been, but slipper gone, and that's the game, isn't it? If they kept the slip in, they might have had a wicket. They took him out, and Hughes gets an outside edge, picks up a boundary, he goes to 18. That's end of the second over. The Sharks are 25 without loss.
It's such a momentum game. You look at it, he's had 2 edges, they've gone for 4, and what you find sometimes in tournaments, you can get on a roll where you get those little bits that go your way, and sometimes you whack it and the guy puts his hand out, diving one-handed on the boundary. You think, how the hell's he caught that? And every stop, is a diving stop, and you can't get it through. And then other days, you inside edge a few and they go for 4 and you're off and running. So it just what it looks like is you've got 2 guys who are very confident, things are going their way, and that's generally how it rolls.
Well, it's going to be Ethan Bosch who's going to bowl from the C end of the ground, the 3rd over of the innings, on a lovely sunny afternoon here at Hove. Adrian Harms and Chris Nash, the former Sussex and Notts opener, here with us on commentary. Really good to see Chris. In comes Bosch, bowls, and Ward looks to pull that one away on the leg side. It goes down to deep backward square. They're going to pick up a couple of runs as Harrison Ward comes back. He goes to 8 and the total to 27 without loss in the 3rd over.
It looks a good pitch, doesn't it? I mean, it doesn't look like there's any demons in there. It's not really moving. It seems like it's just sitting up, kind of. So short boundaries. Hopefully we'll see some runs today.
Same pitches was used for the game in the week against Hampshire, and also for the Women's International here as well. As in comes Bosch, bowls, and he beats Harrison. Well, that's a good delivery outside of the off stump taken by Rosington, and there is no run. 27 without loss. Talk about quarterfinals, Chris, because there's been a couple down here where Sussex have been on the wrong end being at home, but I guess that's just the way it goes.
I get that I think the 2 ones you're talking about, I think was David Willey's 100 against Northants and Moeen Ali. So it just takes someone to have a day out, and that's the way knockout cricket works. So hopefully we won't see that again.
Bosch in bowls to Harrison Ward. Well, he's hammered that one away. He's pulled it away, and it's gone for 6 runs. Well, that's an impressive shot. He just got onto the front foot and just belted the ball over a wideish mid-on. It's gone all the way for a maximum. That's a terrific shot.
Yeah, I think it just shows the wicket as well. This guy, Bosch he's a good overseas player. Bowls decent pace from South Africa. And there's no real pace to this pitch. It looks like guys can just stand there and kind of hit the top of the bounce. So it'll be interesting if these 2 get going. I think, was it against Essex? They did 90 odd in the power play.
Yeah, they did. I made a note. Well, when Harrison Ward was out, he made 68 and off 6.5 over. Sussex were 99 for 1.
Off 6.5. Yeah. So not quite the power play record at Sussex, is it? But,
What is the move? Is that you and writing?
I've been waiting to bring that up.
Oh, God, you must.
It wasn't. It was me and Stiaan van Zyl against Surrey. I think it was Sam on the gate actually told me the day after, and he said, I knew that they didn't quite beat you. I think we got 96. And that game, I had a few people text, Did they beat it? So I think that was the power play record.
Was that here?
2017 it was, yeah, against Surrey.
Right, okay. There's all sorts of records in the book here. We'll have to get that one added, Chris.
I could give you loads of records. I mean, they're only unique to me, but you know, if we could just do a book, and I'll just chuck a few in. Just...
Well, if you'd have said who was your partner, I'd have definitely said Luke Wright.
Exactly, and I try and tell Wrighty, I'm like, why did we waste all those years back together when Stian was much better up top? So Wrighty should have come in 6.
Oh, great one. 33 without loss. That's the stat of the day from Chris.
There's more to come. Don't worry. I think any time.
And they're all up here as well, because there's no piece of paper.
Don't worry, they're all there waiting to come out.
Here comes Ethan Bosch running away from us. The glorious afternoon at home. He's in bowls to Ward. He takes a step away to the leg side and clubs that into the covers. It's fielded by Paul Walter, and there is no run. And he's a player, Harrison Ward, who's sort of been a bit in and out the side over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Chris, but just maybe given a run in the side. Maybe that's what he needed.
He's that kind of character. He's confident. He walks out there, you know, sticks his shoulders out and gives it a go from ball one, and that's what you need in T20. And he impacts games, whether he scores a lot, you know, even if he has a.
Bosch in bowls, and Ward drives down the offside of the pitch and picks up a single, followed by Dean Elgrove, comes running in from mid-off, but not before Ward goes through for a single. He goes to 15. The Sharks 34 without loss.
But you can just see, like, even that was a good length ball, and he's got himself a bit of space, and he's going hard at it, and the bowler now knows he's under a lot of pressure, and I think it just sets the tone for the game. And I think especially batting first, you've got a big crowd, it's a good pitch. You get your openers kind of off and running, and it really gets the day going, and it gets the whole team kind of believing.
Bosch runs away from us in again, bowls, and he hits Daniel Hughes. I'm not sure if that's somewhere painful or on the thigh, but another way, it's a dot balls win the over. It's the end of the 3rd over here at Hove, and Sussex Sharks have been asked to bat 34 without loss. Hughes on 18, Harrison Ward on 15.
I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of turn there, so I think the new ball might be the time to really go after it and kind of get ahead of the game. And those middle overs, I think they've obviously got Harmer, who's going to be very effective in the middle. I think especially if the left-handers are in, he will be one of the harder guys to get away.
I did a bit of homework, Chris. Chris Nash, 167 T20 games. Does that sound about right?
Yes, I think.
3,679 runs, and I was here when you made your highest score, the 112 against Somerset.
Yes.
I was sitting outside. Sky were here, so we were forced out of the commentary box. I was sitting on the boundary edge, and it was freezing. Ed Joyce was summarising, and Ed had gloves on. It was a really cold day.
And he's from Ireland. He's used to the cold as well, so he's fine.
It's going to be Shane Stater, who's coming in from the Cromwell Road end. Right arm around the wicket, comes in and bowls to Ward. He's beaten outside of the off stump, taken by Rosington. I like to see a keeper standing up to the stumps, and it's a dot ball.
I think that was the game. I remember I got 100, and I think Millsy got 1 for 30, and he got Chris Gale out with a 94-mile-an-hour ball. And I came out to get my man of the match, and Tony Cotty, who was awarding it, said, "Oh, you just won it." And I looked at him, I said, "Are you kidding me? I just got 100." But he got 1 for. I nearly didn't get my bottle of champagne.
Yeah, I remember that night. In comes Stater bowls, and is he going to be caught? I think he is. He pulls the ball down the ground, and that's going to be the end of Harrison Ward. He was a little short. He was looking to pull the ball. I reckon he top edged that, and the ball has ended up at mid-off, and Harrison Ward goes for 15. The first Sussex wicket goes down 34 for 1. Yeah,
and you know, you look at it, but that is the nature of the game, and that is the nature of how he plays. And he's going to have days when he gets 15 off 10, 15 off 12, but they're often running, and it sets the game up. And although he'll obviously be disappointed, and people might say it's not a high score, I look at it and go, he's got the game off and running. They're going at 10s. They're on for a good power play, and then Clarkey can come in, and it just buys the next guy a little bit of time to have a look at a few balls, and it just sets the game up nicely, I think. So obviously disappointed for him, and I'm sure he will be, but it is a good start. Tom
Clark, am I right in thinking played quite a lot of club cricket at Horsham? Is this someone you know well?
One of my Horsham lads, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah,
did you coach him?
I did coach him a little bit as a kid, and I know the family very well, so yeah, always when he comes out to bat, I've always kind of got that extra kind of eye on him. His mum, I do some work with his mum at Horsham Cricket Club. She works in the office, so yeah, I know how nervous she is when watching. So yeah, hopefully he can have that. But he's done all right. He's obviously had an injury, a bit of a shoulder injury, so missed a few championship games. Yeah. But came and hit the ball really nicely here the other night against Glamorgan, actually.
Yes, he did.
Obviously he didn't get any last night, but he's been in some good form. So it'd be nice to see him hit them well.
And very good in the field is Tom Clark as well. 34 for 1. So Snater into the attack, picks up a wicket in his first over, coming into bowl to the left-handed Tom Clark. He's in and bowls, and Clark defends into the offside, no run. I actually bumped into Tom Clark's dad on one occasion. I was at Lingfield Park races, and this fella came and tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Are you Adrian?" I thought,
What
oh,
have you
no.
done?
And he said, "Oh, so it was nice of him to come and say hello." We were there to watch the Human League or someone, but anyway.
Yeah, I think you can normally find his parents kind of hiding around. I mean, my parents always used to hide around the pitch and try and stay out of view.
Comes Snater, bowls, and Clark clips that to short, fine legs. Snater has hands on his head, and there is no run. Good over this so far. So far, it's a wicket maiden. 4 balls gone. The Sharks 34 for. Did you just get nervous when your parents watched you?
I wasn't, but my parents did, and I remember once batting. I was at this end, and my dad was hiding behind the Sharks down there, and I saw him poke his head out, and I was waving at him. I was pretty relaxed, and he was so nervous, and he was like, "Oh right, okay, you've seen me, right?" So we stood out, and I could actually see where he was.
Snater in, bowls to Tom Clark, who's on his way. Pulls that through mid-wicket. They've taken 1, and that's all they'll take. So Tom Clark is on his way, 35 for 1, just the 1 run off the over. This is a good over by Snater, particularly after Sussex getting off to a good start, Chris.
Yeah, just taking the pace off a little bit. Obviously, keeper up makes a big difference. But I think bowling down the hill, if you can get it right, kind of mix your pace up a little bit, it can be a bit harder. I think obviously, generally as a batter, you're thinking about when you're batting at the top end, that's when you're looking to make hay. I think especially as right-handers hitting down the hill. So it's just picking your bowlers, and if he bowls a good length, you probably see him off, get to the next one, kind of go again.
Down to Hughes, 18 not out. In comes Snater over the wicket, bowls to Hughes, who plays it into the offside, and that's a really good over by Shane Snater. It's an over that just cost 1 run, and he's picked up the wicket of Harrison Ward. So the Sharks are 35 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. Clark on 1, out Daniel Hughes is on 18. Sussex have won this competition once. Chris, you were in the side. What's that like to win a final today?
Look, finals day is the best day for a domestic play. For those of us who didn't play international cricket, Lord's finals were unbelievable. We're lucky to play in a couple of them, but the finals day was just a magical day. To go there with your home club as well. I was lucky. I went in 2007 as quite a younger player in a really good side, and we missed out, lost in the semi-final. But yeah, to win in 2009 was a new team as well. It was probably a bit like this team in that it was quite a new 2020 team with a new captain. And
Ethan Bosch in and bowls to Tom Clark, who stepped away and has eased that one down to front. I think that came off the bat. It's run all the way down to the final. In fact, they were leg by, so maybe it came off the thigh pad. Nonetheless, Sussex won't care about that. Another boundary. They go to 39 for 1 in the 5th.
Yeah, no, it feels like a lifetime ago now, but you build a bond. When you win a trophy, you build a bond, and people like Andrew Hodd, Roy Hamilton-Brown, all the guys that we all play together. We do keep in touch, and it's a special thing. I mean, winning at finals day is a proper party.
In comes Bosch. Sorry, Chris. Over the bowls and Clark forward there. I don't know what happened there, Chris. He just looked at the pitch a bit suspiciously.
Yeah, it looked like he just kind of got a little bit big on him actually, and just hit the splice, but. I mean, it's quite a dry pitch, so maybe as the lacquer comes off the ball, it might just be a little bit harder to score. I think early on it might just skid on, and then as soon as that ball gets a little bit hard, a little bit kind of more used, and the lacquer comes off, it might be a bit too paced.
Bosch turns just down in front of us, running in from the sea end of the ground, coming up the hill to bowl to the left-handed Tom Clark. He's in and bowls. Clark takes a step down the wicket. There's a swing and a miss. Ball goes through to Rosington, and there is no run. At this stage, Chris, we're in the 5th over. Would they have a figure in mind they want to get from the power play? Because he looks like he's trying to get on with it here, Tom Clark.
Yeah, you hope everyone's communicating. You hope that Dan Hughes has been out there for a few overs now. He'd have seen, he'd be thinking probably 50 to 60 is going to be a good score in that power play. And I think it depends how you're breaking it down into segments, really.
Comes Bosch, right arm over the wicket, bowls, and Clark defends into the offside. There is no run, fielded there by Simon Harmer. Another good over. 4 leg buys, now 3 dot balls. And we were talking about Tom Clark. Do you start to feel the pressure a little bit? I mean, he's 1 off 7. Will he be thinking, I need a boundary here?
It's amazing, T20, it goes so quickly, and you can be 1 off 7 balls, and you're thinking, God, I'm so far behind the game, I'm going to cost the team. Your mind can go. It's about keeping calm. That's where Dan Hughes has gone down, had a wander. A quick chat with him.
Comes in again, bowls, does Bosch, and that's a short delivery, and it's a little wide by Jack Chantry. It was down there. It's also a little high to me as well. Nonetheless, Sussex pick up another run. They go to 40 for 1.
It's also knowing that we've had a really good start here. We're nearly at 10 and over. you're a couple of boundaries away from getting through to 5 overs and being 50. So you just got to not panic and realise that you can get off strike, take a breath. It can change very quickly. Two balls, 2 boundaries, and you're back on it.
Bosch runs away from us, comes into bowl to Tom Clark. He's in and bowls, and Clark again looking to pull that one away on the leg side. It's raced away. Now I don't know if that came off pad or whether it was by. Oh, it came off the bat.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of glove.
And runs away down to fine leg. So Tom Clark picks up a boundary, not as he intended. Nonetheless, they all count, and the Sharks go to 44 for 1 in the 5th.
Yeah, that again, that'll calm you down. And like I was saying earlier, if the keeper dives and stops that, the pressure builds. But that's, I think, what's happening when you're seeing a team that are kind of in form. You get those little bits that kind of go your way, and you're off and running again. So, Clarkie, relax. He'll probably hold his shape really nicely and hit a nice forehand before,
And he's away.
He doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Tom Clark waits. At Sussex 44 for 1 in the 5th, as in comes Bosch over the wicket bowls, and Clark trying to ramp that over the keeper's head, doesn't make contact, goes through to Adam Rossington. It's the end of the over, the end of the 5th, and the Sussex Sharks are 44 for 1. Daniel Hughes on 18, Tom Clark on 5.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy. I think they'll be happy so far. If you're anywhere around that 50 to 55 run mark, after 6 you're pretty happy. I think the confidence they're getting as well from knowing they've got the power down the order. Allsop last night, Simo as well last night. It just builds belief. Even McAndrew, I think looking at his stats as well, he's had a really good time at the bat as well.
Yeah, he has.
Danny Lamb struck it well. So knowing that you've got guys who can come in at the end, it just buys you that bit of time to know that you don't have to score 10 and over for the whole way. It might be that you have a really good finish. I think last night was quite a lot of runs off the pass in the last 2 or 3 overs, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. They went berserk. Yeah.
It's knowing that gives you confidence.
Sam Cook back into the attack, comes in and bowls to Daniel Hughes, who steps away to the leg side, looking to hammer that one away through backward point, misses, goes through to Rossington, and there is no run. How good is it, Chris, to see Hove really packed?
It's brilliant. I mean, I was saying to the guys when I came in actually that it feels like the season started. I know we're in the middle of July, but the sun's come out today. It's such a bad summer, haven't we? And there's been no Test cricket as well. I went up to the Test match last week, and it was absolutely buzzing. There's such an appetite for cricket. Once the weather kind of kicks off. So, yeah, it definitely feels like a bit of a start this week.
In comes Cook, bowls to Hughes, who drives down the ground. That's a lovely looking shot. It's racing up towards the boundary, it's going up the hill, and it's going to go all the way for a 4. Lovely shot by Daniel Hughes, lovely off drive. He goes to 22, and the Sharks to 48 for 1.
I think it's quite clear, actually. It's quite a slow pitch, and anyone, when they tried to overhit, and the ball before, Hughes stepped away and tried to carve it. He then just held his shape, and the same with Tom as well. He's almost tried to overhit. Harrison, when he just held his shape, hit a couple of boundaries. So it looks like a proper cricket wicket. I think if you try and slog on it because it's quite slow, you might just cloth it.
In comes Cook over the wicket bowls, and Hughes looking to hammer that one away into the flats on the leg side. The ball goes through to Rossington, and there is no run. What day were you at the Test match?
Day 1.
Okay.
So yeah, it was great. I mean, to watch Jimmy, obviously, just. You can't quite comprehend that he was playing Test cricket in 2003. I think when you think back to, we won the championship in 2003, and I was like a kid then. But to see that he's played 21 years for England, it just blows your mind. And he was still running in and still looked fit. And it was an amazing atmosphere. Yeah, everyone was buzzing for it.
In comes Cook over the wicket bowls to Daniel Hughes. Good delivery right up in the block hole, and Hughes can only play it back to Cook, and there is no run. I was there on the second day, and he got a fantastic ovation when he came out to bat. It was really, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you'd
have faced him, Chris.
I've faced him a lot. I was joking. I actually was lucky. I played golf with him about 3 weeks ago. And I was he kind of asked me, he said, what was it like playing against me? And I reeled off some of the stuff he used to say to me, and he was like, did I say that? Was I that bad?
In comes Cook over the wicket bowls, and Daniel Hughes pulls that away, and that's gone many a mile. That's gone out of the ground. No, it's bouncing up into the flats. It might have landed on someone's balcony. Too short, and Daniel Hughes absolutely clouted that over mid-wicket for 6 runs. Good shot. What was so good about that shot, Chris?
He didn't try and overhit it. The shot before, his head went up, lost his balance. That shot, he just stayed in it. It was almost like he just kept his head down and tried to time it. And I think, if that was hopefully that's the feedback going back, is actually don't overhit. It's a good pitch, but you've got to keep your shape. It's not big boundaries at Hove, so you don't have to overhit the ball. Don't have to try and hit the ball too high. You can hit the ball quite flat down there. There's normally a bit of a breeze out. So,
well, we need a new ball, which is being found at the minute. 54 for 1. Daniel Hughes goes to 28. Well, I shouldn't say. I'm going to rephrase that question. I was going to say how many times did he get you out, but I'm going to say, did he ever get you out?
I don't think he did. You know, I mean, I'm not sure. But probably I couldn't nick it. I wasn't good enough to nick it. But he was. I mean, he was brilliant to play against them. And that Lancashire team, they had Flintoff, Muralitharan, Sajid Mahmood, Cork, Chappell. There was a real good group of them around. So when he used to come back from Test matches and play, it was a proper fight. And we played him up at Liverpool and on a real good wicket, good pace and bounce. It was just great fun playing against him. Him and Chappell together were pretty special.
In comes Cook bowls. Hughes takes a step away, and that's a brilliant piece of fielding. Well, I thought that was 4 runs, but I get Simon Harmer in there. Daniel Hughes took a step away to the leg side. Is he out?
No, 1 bounce.
I thought he was for a minute. It's just the way the Essex lads all got together. I thought they're celebrating like he was out. But he clubbed that away into the offside, and a brilliant piece of fielding, diving away to his right hand side. End of the over, 54 for 1. That's the end of the power play. Hughes on 28, Clark on 5. Sussex happy enough, Chris?
I think that's a brilliant start. Again, you know, the pitch, it looks like a little bit there. It looks a little bit too paced. It does look dry, so it'd be interesting to see how Harmer goes here with the field back. What kind of boundary options the guys will look for. If there's much turn. I mean, we saw turn in the first over with Hughes nicking that one. So, yeah, but I think this will be a real key period if Sussex can kind of get through to that 10 over mark in good shape. Simon
Harmer back into the attack, 1 over for 10, comes in and bowls and beats Tom Clark. Rosington whips off the bails, but Tom Clark clearly had his back foot in.
This is also where sometimes having too many left-handers can kind of do you a little bit. With a right-hander, there would be more boundary options.
Harmer in bowls, full toss, drilled down the ground, and Simon Harmer, for a big fellow, makes a good stop diving across the crease.
He's got huge hands. His fingers are like bloody toes. It's yeah, you're like when you shake his hand, you're like kind of rips your arm off.
Fine cricketer though, Chris.
Fantastic cricketer.
Harmer in again, bowls. Tom Clark steps away to the leg side. He just can't get it away at the moment, Tom Clark. He's 5 off of 11, 54 for 1.
He actually came down and trialled here before he joined Essex.
Did he?
He fielded for us once. He got a run out. He was only in for about 2 overs, and that was the only time we saw him, and then he went off to Essex.
Harmer in bowls, and well played by Tom Clark. He's found the gap on the leg side. They're going to come back for a second run. No, they don't. Well, I thought there was 2 there, but they've settled for a single. Clark goes to 6, 55 for 1. Did Sussex have the chance to sign him?
I'm not sure. No, I think we had our full quota of overseas at that time. But he was down. I think Mark Davis knew him, so he came down and did a bit of bowling in the nets, and he was just around, so he fielded. I remember he got a run out, and we were like, "Who's this guy?" And then signed for Essex about a week later, I think.
Harmer in bowls and clipped onto the onside by Daniel Hughes. It'll just be a single, working the ball around. Total goes to 56 for 1. Hughes goes to 29. Clark is on 6, and we're in the 7th over. So Harmer wanders back to his mark. He's only got a run of less than half a dozen paces, really. He's in and bowls and swung away onto the leg side by Tom Clark, and that's a good shot. And it, well, it bisects the 2 fielders on the leg side. He made a bit of a Horlicks of fielding it in the end. Tom Clark won't mind. He picks up a boundary, and always get a boundary off the last ball of the over. And the Sharks are 60 for 1. Clark on 10, Hughes on 29. Here on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey, myself, Adrian Harms, alongside the former Sussex opener Chris Nash.
Yeah, I think it's nice that little boundary again. It keeps Clarkey. You know, he was 6 or 13. If that was a single, 7 or 14, then you start to get a bit nervous. But hopefully, I think if he can just keep up with it for a little bit, he'll feel more comfortable at the crease. A couple of boundary options come his way. I just think the longer, especially on a pitch like this, the longer you bat, you feel more comfortable. He'll start hitting the ball cleaner. For Hughes, obviously, he's a long way ahead of the game, so he's probably looking at it thinking he'll be the one to kind of bat through the next 4 or 5 overs, I imagine. He's played a lot of cricket around the world, so he'll know exactly what he's thinking on this pitch, what kind of assessment there is going to be a good score.
29 of 16 for Daniel. Who else has sort of come under your watch for like Horsham? Tom Haynes as well?
Tom Haynes a little bit. I played a little bit with him when I was still at Sussex. Obviously, you know, Clarkey was one at Horsham as a kid. You know, I was playing for the first team, and he was a real, very, very small little lad. So, in terms of the Horsham guys, that was it really.
In comes Paul Walter over the wicket, bowls a slower delivery to Daniel Hughes, who was through the shot before the ball had arrived, and the ball just bounces away onto the onside, and Sussex take a single, 61 for 1.
I mean, the funny thing is how quickly kind of you realise the gap. You know, I mean, I think Tom's 23, I'm 41, so you realise kind of how old you are quite quickly, and the gap between you and the younger players gets bigger and bigger.
You're right, 23, born in February. In fact, funnily enough, we were looking at that wonderful partnership last night, the 139 between Simpson and Allsop, looking at the various records as in comes Walter over the wicket, bowls, and Tom looking to pull that one away on the leg side.
Ooh, no
whistles through to he has going to get a no ball at height. He doesn't look very happy about that, Paul Walter.
Pretty tight that.
But it has been given.
Surprised that Jack Shantry left arm seamer to left arm seamer. He's given it as a bouncer.
Yeah, and he didn't look best pleased, did Paul Walter. Now it's not a free hit. Adam is just sort of looking towards Jack Shantry, his other umpire. But Sussex 2 more to the total, 63 for 1, as Walter is in. Down the hill, bowls, and this time Tom Clark does pull the ball away, but there's a fielder out at deep mid-wicket, keeps Clark to 1. He goes to 11 off 16, and the Sharks to 64 for 1 in the 8th over. Yeah, that was the record partnership was 159, which was Luke Wright and Matt Machin at Chelmsford.
Oh, yes.
And that was the day I think you guys got stuck on the coach.
Yeah. Basically, every time Wrighty was late for a game, he got 100.
Good. In comes Walter, bowls to Hughes, who clips that one nicely down the ground. They picked up 1. They'll look to come back for the second with a good bit of fielding out on the long on boundary. Keeps it to 1, 65 for 1.
Well, I think Wrighty got him and Andrew Hodd were driving the kit van to Kent once, and they got lost because Hoddy lived down in Bexhill, so we took them down Bexhill way to Canterbury, which is not the right way to go. And they turned up with about 5 minutes to go, so no one had any kit. And Robbo was kicking off because we had nets and we couldn't. And Wrighty went and got 120, and that kind of kick-started his career.
In comes Walter, bowls wide of the off stump, and he just looks frustrated there, Tom Clark. He just took a step away to the leg side. He's looking to play that one away through backward point, but goes past the outside edge, no run. Yeah,
he's just looking to overhit a little bit actually, and that's what sometimes that happens when the pressure kind of comes onto you a little bit. You just look to create something, whereas actually just standing still. You know, you're always best when you're standing still. You're in a good position. So hopefully Hughes will come down and have a quick chat with him and just say, look, you know, keep a firm base, hit the ball hard. 65 for 1. In comes Paul Walter, tall left-handed bowler. Pulled away by Tom Clark. There we are, almost on cue. Pulls it away into the corporate hospitality over backward square leg. 6 runs to Tom Clark. He goes to 17. You should be a coach, Chris. The game now changes for Tom because you look at the scoreboard, you panic, you worry about being kind of behind par. Suddenly he's kind of level par. He's thinking, right, okay, get off strike this ball, and then the boundary comes along, and before you know it, you're going quite well, and it can change quickly. So it's just not panicking, and that comes from a lot of experience and your partner as well, and that's the most important part about a partnership in T20. 71 for 1. Tom Clark on 17 off 18. In comes Walter, bowls, and Clark looks to pull this one on the leg side. Now they may well look for 2 here. The fielder's got a long way to come in from long on. I think Tom Clark was keen. Daniel Hughes a little more reluctant to come back for the second, but Tom Clark will retain the strike. He's on 18 at the end of the 8th over, and the Sharks are 72 for 1. But yeah, going back to Wrighty getting lost, so then they got stuck on the M25 going up to Essex. We all got there quite early, but he left late, as he always did. And I'm not sure who he was in with, but we used to drive up to some games, the local games, and a lot of time we got coaches. So Wright again turns up 5 minutes from the start. We almost had to delay the game for it, and I think he got 150 that game. But it was one of those ones where I think if it had happened 2 times early on in his career, he probably could have got out of warm-ups for the rest of his life. He might still be playing at that stage, but. In comes Simon Harmer, comes in and bowls to Tom Clark, but clips a full toss down to long on and picks up a single. Tom Clark, he goes to 18, the total to 72 for 1. You must have some funny stories, Chris, from down the years. We could really dob the England selector in here. I mean. In comes Harmer, bowls. Daniel Hughes is down the wicket, driving a lofted drive. That's beautifully placed, and it's piercing the outfield. There's a fielder at mid-off. Long off, I should say. There's a fielder at deep extra, straight between the two. Lovely shot for 4 runs. It's a good cricket shot, and I think the more we're seeing here is that good cricket shots are the ones that are going, and it's not trying to overhit. Then he's just come inside and knocked it over extra cover really, really gently. Harmer again bowls, and he hammers that one away. It's just a single on this occasion out to the clock tower scoreboard. Nonetheless, Hughes goes to 36 off 20, striking at almost 200 here is Daniel Hughes. 78, Chris. 78 for 1. 78 for 1, 8.3.
Harmer around the wicket, in and bowls, and Tom Clark. He was looking to play it on the leg side. He seemed to change his shot there at the last minute.
Yeah, I think he was almost looking to get right over the top of it and go over extra in the end. It does look like it's turning a little bit, but...
Dot ball, Harmer in again, bowls to Tom Clark, who works this one to backward point footed by the tall figure of Walter. Clark goes to 19, no he doesn't, he goes to 20 off 22 and the Sharks 79 for 1.
Yeah, it does look slow, but I mean, Harmer's in his third now, isn't he? He's their key bowler, so he's only got one over left now to come in the next 11, so it's not a bad thing that he's kind of pretty much bowled out.
Harmer in bowls to Hughes, who works that one down to long off, fielded by Dean Elgar down in front of us. End of another over. The Sharks going along very nicely here. 80 for 1, 9 off of the over, with Clark on 20, Hughes on 37.
I think going back to righty, we'll keep going back to righty if we want. I just think if it was that freshness, and sometimes you can. Something unexpected happens before a game. Like I've had it before, where your bat broke and then you get a new bat and you walk out and smack it from ball one. And sometimes something out of the ordinary happens, and then it kind of clicks you into a different gear. Because cricket, you do the same things day in day out, and you get superstitious and you worry about certain things, and then when you get there 5 minutes before the start of play, you put your pads on and walk out and bat and whack it. It clears your mind a little bit. So
I was there that night. It was remarkable, and he was clearing the flats at the far end of the ground. It was just unbelievable. Yeah, I think you're right. I think 153 made something like that.
Yeah, I mean, when he got going, it was so predictable what he was doing, because you could almost I played with a lot, and you could almost predict what he would do the next ball.
Shane Snater in over the wicket, bowls to Daniel Hughes. That came a bit low, Chris.
It looked like a slower ball, but again, it's just probably looked to overhit a little bit. He obviously looks like the hardest bowler at the moment, mixing his pace up, kind of bowling back of a length. It's quite a slow pitch. Keeper up makes it difficult.
Sussex 80 for 1 in the 10th over, so almost to the halfway stage here on BBC Radio. Sussex BBC Radio, if you're just joining us, live cricket at Hove. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Chris Nash. As in comes Snater, bowls, pulled away though, that's gone high, wide and handsome, and it's gone for a maximum down into the corporate hospitality area. A bit of a top edge. Nonetheless, they all count, and it's sailed away for 6 runs.
It's a good option against this kind of bowler, because he's hitting to the short boundary. All he has to do is get something on it, and everything's going to take it down the hill. So
you're saying I got that wrong?
I mean, no, it was.
I probably did.
You probably did. I think you used to get it wrong all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's a miracle when I get it right, to be honest.
I didn't want to say anything.
No, you say, that's fine. In comes Snater, running in from the Cromwell Road end. He's in and bowls, and Hughes is beaten outside the off stump, taken by Rosington, and it's a dot ball, 86 for 1.
When you get guys like this, and you get the medium pacers who mix their pace up, you do have to play them almost like spinners. And guys now, they can sweep seamers without, you can sweep 80, 90 mile an hour. So guys bowling 75, 76, you can get down and kind of sweep them, especially for the left-handers down the hill.
Snater turns and runs towards us from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. He's in and bowls, pulled away, and that's going to be 6 more. Pulled away, backward and square, and Daniel Hughes is starting to motor here. He goes to 49. He's been a terrific signing for Sussex, and the Sharks down 92 for 1 in the 10th.
It just looks like he's played a lot of cricket, experienced guy, quite clever cricket. He's hitting to the right boundaries. Again, going back to when you watch the best players in T20, you kind of know what they're going to do, because they do it so well. And I think what we're going to see now, I imagine Snater's going to look to push it across him and take away that leg side, but I imagine for Hughes, he's going to look to target that sweep shot now and try and get underneath the ball and kind of lift it down to this fine leg boundary.
12 off the over so far. Snater from the Cromwell Road end into bowl to the left-handed Daniel Hughes is on 49. He's in and bowls, and Hughes plays a beautiful shot through the offside. It's going to be fielded on the cover boundary, and it's a single and a half century for Daniel Hughes. 50 coming off 26 balls. He's the third highest run scorer in the T20 Blast this season, and what a signing he's been for Sussex.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and 50 off 26 is that he's going at a good click, but you wouldn't really notice it. He hasn't kind of hit massive shots. He's just kind of hit the ball into clever areas. Obviously, all 3 of his 6s have come on the shorter edge, so it's been a really clever inning so far. And I think Clarkey will learn a little bit from watching him now. 13 off the over. Snater in around the wicket, coming into bowl to Tom Clark, who pulls that away out to the deep mid-wicket boundary. He picks up a single. He'll retain the strike. He goes to 21 at the end of the 10th over, so halfway through the Sussex innings, and the Sharks are 94 for 1. The man out, Harrison Ward,
who was out for 15, caught by Dean Elgar off the bowling of Shane Snater.
Bit of Matt Critchley, so some leg spin. So it's obviously spin from this end looks like the way, but he's going to be spinning it into the left-handers now. So it'd be interesting to see if they have a go towards the pavilion now.
I like Critchley. I think he's a good cricketer.
He's a very good cricketer. Yeah, I mean, it came from Derby, but Essex have been at the top of the tree for quite a while now in county cricket. In white ball and red ball. So he's made the move to go to, although not a Test match county, a top performing county. And he's been a great signing for them. I think himself, I think Rossington's been a great signing as well for them. So
Matt Critchley bowling his leg spin from the C end of the ground, comes in, bowls to Tom Clark, who works this one away onto the leg side. They've taken one out to deep wicket. Tom Clark was looking to come back for the second. It wasn't really there. He goes to 22. The Sharks to 95 for 1. In this sort of situation, are you looking for Daniel Hughes to play a really big innings here now that he's in, or what would he be thinking, Chris? Just break off as Critchley comes in, bowls, and Hughes pulls this one away, and that's going to go for another maximum. Pulled away, drilled down the ground over wideish mid on 6 runs, lovely shot, 100 up for the Sharks, 101 for 1.
Yeah, I think you've got your player in form, your player that's in and well ahead of kind of par, but I think Clarkie's role is really important, is to make sure that he's got in now, so if he can keep taking the pressure off Hughes can play with freedom. As if you lose a wicket now at the other end, then obviously Hughes will have to kind of calm down again.
Critchley in again, bowls to Hughes, who takes a step away to the leg side and works the ball away through the offside, picks up a single to the sweeper in front of the clock tower scoreboard. One more to Hughes, he goes to 57, 102 for 1.
I think the biggest bit is kind of once you get through that power play, they've done a really good. If you lose a lot of wickets between 6 and 10, it can really stop you. So not losing wickets has been great for them here.
Critchley in, bowls to Tom Clark, who repeats this very similar shot to Daniel Hughes with the previous delivery. The ball goes out into the offside, fielded out on that offside boundary. One more to the total, 103 for 1. Clark on 23, Hughes on 57. We're in the 11th of the 20 overs. Leg spin of Matt Critchley. Comes in and bowls, and Hughes again steps away to the leg side and works that down to long off, fielded by Dean Elgar, who's very quickly in and gets in the throw. Decent recovery this from Critchley. You've gone for a 6 and then 3 singles coming off the next 3 balls, but Sussex will feel content enough. 10 off the over so far, and 1 ball to go. Critchley in, bowls, swung away onto the leg side, and is that going to be another boundary? That's a very good bit of fielding actually in front of the Spenkama pavilion, and keeps it to a couple of runs, but a good over really as far as Sussex are concerned. What's that? 11 off the over, and at the end of the over the Sharks 106 for 1 with Hughes 58 and Clark on 25.
Yeah, I think they're to be really happy. I mean, they know they've got depth as well, so to be in this position you do, but you know everyone starts to get very confident because you know that everyone who's coming in, A, is in form, and B, is has struck the ball. I think a lot of the guys are striking like 160, 170 strike rates. So it's the perfect platform. If they can get to 12 overs, probably around that kind of 115 mark, you're looking to double it from there, especially in this position. So the pitch looks like there's a little bit of turn there. That's only going to turn more as the afternoon goes on. So yeah, I think definitely if they can get through this over, they'll probably be looking to double their score from there.
And Sussex with 2 spinners in the side today, in Jack Carson and James Cole. Just a message to read out. Congratulations to Timmy Stevens, who's getting married at the end of the month, celebrating with all his mates from Hurstpierpoint today. So good luck to Timmy Stevens in your wedding coming up at the end of the month, and hope you're enjoying the cricket here at Hove this afternoon. A packed Hove, sold out, great sight to see. And Ethan Bosch even is going to come in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground. From here, Chris, have you got your eyes on the score? I mean, you're 106 for 1. Are you thinking?
Yeah, I think you're starting to think about doubling after this over, especially being 1 down. Kind of that 220 mark's going to be up there.
Bosch comes in, bowls, hammered away. That's a super shot by Daniel Hughes. It was slightly over pitch, and he just clubbed that way, driven it beautifully over extra cover. The ball raced away for 4 runs. That's a classy shot. He goes to 62, 110 for 1.
Again, I think what he did was the last over he faced batting at the C end, he got across his stumps and hit down to fine leg, and I think he knows that the guys are going to go probably wide of off stump now. So he's set up for that. You can see they've got a deep point and a deep cover point out, so you can see they're probably going to look to push it across him, and he's ready for it, and he's willing to hit over extra cover.
Bosch again, bowls, and Hughes controlled shot out to the sweeper on the cover pounder. He picks up another single. He goes to 63, 111 for 1 in the 12th over. Sussex having qualified for the quarterfinals last night. 2 wins from their last 3 games will give them a home quarter-final here in the first week of September. Tom Clark on strike, 25 off 26. He just has a look around the field as Bosch is back to his mark at the far end of the ground, the Cromwell Road end, and is on his way to bowl Tom Clark. Is in and bowls, and Clark edges. Now, can I say he edged that one, Chris? See, I thought he was looking to play that one straight down the ground.
It looked like a slower ball. It looks like he's spliced it a bit. So it definitely looks like there's a bit of turn in the pitch. And again, sometimes the beauty of when you're bowling second, you can see what worked. There'll be some good feedback going back from Hughes and Clark to say, look guys, slower balls, back of length, mix your pace up. It's definitely going to be the way forward.
112 for 1. In comes Bosch, bowls, and that is a slow one. It deceived Daniel Hughes, and the ball sort of trickled through to Adam Rosden. Good bit of bowling.
Yeah, that looks like the way forward. I think mixing your pace up just looks hard, especially if you're bowling down that hill. If you take the pace away, it means he can't get across and hit it down to fine leg.
We'll talk about analysts in a moment, because last night John Simpson batted 4 for Sussex in this. On Wednesday night, just break off as in comes Bosch, bowls, and Hughes hammers that down the ground, and that's going to be another maximum for Daniel Hughes. That's a super shot. Hammers the ball over mid-on all the way into the crowd for 6 runs. Daniel Hughes goes to 69 and the Sharks to 118 for 1. Lovely shot.
Yeah,
Chris.
Again, it's really kind of becoming quite obvious now that with the mixing the pace up, if they don't try and overhit, they can pick up those slower balls, and then if there is more pace on it, they can knock it about as well. So yeah, he's just played really nicely. I think he's learned very quickly. He's got it right.
His 5th 6 for Daniel Hughes, who waits, and the Sharks are motoring here, 118 for 1. In comes Bosch, bowls. Hughes looks to pull this one away on the leg side. I think that might have come off the thigh pad. We'll wait for the umpire's signal. No, got a bit of bat on it.
Little bottom edge, yeah.
119 for 1 at the end of the over. Clark on 26. Hughes is on 70. Yeah, I was interested last night because Sussex lost a couple of wickets. They were 22 for 2. Then John Simpson walks out, whereas the game before against Hampshire, he didn't bat. I mean, others came. So it looks to me like they've got a fairly flexible, fluid batting order here.
Yeah, I think you need it, and then there'll be matchups as well. It might be a left-arm spinner comes on, you want to put someone like Simo in. It might be that an off-spinner comes on, you put Coles in. I just think it's being prepared for that, and I think once you get into this situation, you qualify for the quarterfinals, the team's playing good cricket. I think everyone's just ready to play at any time, and I think it's a really good place to be where there's clarity, that you almost know that, okay, Harmer's on, we're going to send the right-hander in, and it's just.
And is that the coach, or is he talking to the analyst? I mean, because there's so much work goes on behind the scenes as well.
I think you do the preparation work with the analyst, and then the coach and the captain will be. And I'm sure Millsy will be quite influential in that as well. And Fabi's been around a long time, so he'll do that prep and then know how to react.
Simon Harmer bowling his final over. It's hit straight down the ground by Daniel Hughes, and he picks up another boundary. He goes to, there's a full toss, he goes to 74, and Sussex to 123 for 1. And these two have now put on 89 for this second wicket.
They've set, I mean, for some, they've set their mid-on and mid-off on the boundary very wide at both ends. And Hughes has seen that.
In comes Harmer, bowls wide of the off stump. Now Tom Clark stepped away to the leg side there. Sorry, it was Daniel Hughes. It looked like it was wide, but in fact it wasn't. Taken by Rosington, so a rare dot ball. 123 for 1. Harmer in again, bowls, that is wide of the off stump, and this time it is given a wide.
Not sure there was much difference between those.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now Simon Harmer doesn't look too happy, does he?
No.
I mean, Hughes did step away a little bit.
Yeah.
And Jack Chantry just waited a couple of moments, and then he signalled the wide. Harmer in again, around the wicket, bowls to Hughes, who drills that one down the ground to long off, fielded down in front of us by Dino Elgar, who gets in the throw. 125 for 1. Hughes to 75. 7 4s, 5 6s for Daniel Hughes. Tom Clark on 26 waits. Harmer is in bowls, and Clark drives that out through extra cover. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2. They will come back for the second run. It's good running, particularly by Daniel Hughes, who was running to the danger end. Tom Clark picks up 2 more. He goes to 28, 127 for 1. And you're right, Chris, this is Harmer's last over. The Essex skipper, in he comes again, bowls, and that's wide outside the off stump, and Harmer immediately turns around. He looks at Jack Chantry as if to say, well, what about that one then? He's taken by Rosington, and it's not signalled as away. He is stepping away a little bit to the leg side, is Daniel Hughes, which makes it look a little wider than perhaps it is. In comes Harmer again, bowls, and Hughes, he gets a bit of good luck there. Looking to drive that one down the ground. He's got a big bottom or inside edge. The ball races away, all the way down to the boundary. Cheers from the Sussex supporters. 131 for one. And Daniel Hughes, a fortunate boundary, but he won't care about that. He goes to 75, and we have had 13 overs.
Yeah, we're in good shape here. I think obviously you've got two guys in as well, so I think they'll probably look to go fairly soon, look to start teeing up, and then I think that kind of 220, 230 is definitely on the cards. Again, with Harmer finishing now, having bowled to the two left-handers, you would have thought he would have been a bit more economical, but they've played it really well.
They've just used the 5 bowlers of Essex. So Harmer is now bowled out. They've got Sam Cook, Nathan Bosch has got 1 to bowl, Shane Stater's got 2 to bowl, and Paul Walter has got 3 to bowl. Now he's going to come in from this bottom end. I think it's going to be Shane Stater who's back into the attack. 2 overs, 1 for 15 so far. And this partnership now, Chris, is worth 97 between these two. A big partnership yesterday, 139 between Simpson and Allsop, and another big partnership. And that's the great thing, it's just different players.
That's the thing, it's not like you're seeing 2 players score the bulk of the runs. You look at that top 5, they've all got runs.
Slater in, bowls to Hughes. That's a super shot, isn't it? He hammers that one away for extra cover. I mean, the field is up on that offside. And I guess once he's cleared the field, it's a low-risk shot, Chris.
Yeah, and you can just, I mean, it's pretty obvious what they're trying to do. They're looking to push it across, but you look, Hughes there, he got right over, not to off stump, which made him go wider, but then it opened up the gap over extra cover. So, not sure they're kind of bowling to both sides at the moment. It doesn't look like they're quite clear on what they're trying to do.
And that shot brought up the 100 partnership, 135 for one between Tom Hughes and Daniel Hughes and Tom Clark, I should say, and that's down. He's annoyed with himself there, Hughes. He's played
just got away with that because Hughes jumped over to off stump, and then Stater's tried to do him go straight, and he's gone to 45. But yeah, it doesn't. They don't look completely clear now. I think Hughes is on top of them here because he's got over extra cover for his boundary option with a 4, but if he bowls straight, he knows he can hit it over fine leg for 6. His
highest T20 score is 96. He's possibly on the way to beating that. He's 79 not out. As in comes Slater, bowls, pulls that one away onto the leg side. There are 2 fielders out guarding that short leg side boundary. One of them is Elgar, who gets in the throats. One more to Daniel Hughes. He goes to 80, 136 for one. Partnership between this pair now of 102 in the 14th over. Slater's just going to change the angle of his attack to bowl to Tom Clark. 32 off. I mean, he's played a good supporting role here, Tom Clark.
He's done really well, actually. He's caught up. He's got a couple of boundaries at good times when he's probably feeling a bit of pressure, so he's done really well, and that is about a partnership. It's
Slater in bowls, and Clark's to pull that one away on the leg side. He misses, not taken cleanly by Rosington, and it's a dot ball.
Yeah, and I just think that supporting role is just as important, because if Clarkey gets out, it means that someone else has got to come in and start again, and it might stop Dan Hughes from kind of keep going. So he's what, 32 or 31, a couple of boundaries here, and he's going really well. But they've set it up really nicely.
136 for one on a glorious afternoon at Hove. Lots of blue sky around as Slater runs in from the Cromwell Road end of the ground, running down the hill around the wicket. He's in and bowls, pulled away by Tom Clark. It's only as far as Paul Walter, who shies at the stumps, but Daniel Hughes running towards the danger end was comfortably home. And it's another single for Sussex. Clark goes to 33 off 32, and Sussex to 137 for one in this, the 14th of their 20 overs, and it brings Daniel Hughes back on strike. 80 with 8 4s and 5 6s for the Australian, and he waits for Slater, who's running down the hill, Cromwell Road end, over the wicket, bowls, and that's slightly wide of the off stump, and Daniel Hughes looking to work that one away through backward point. It's a dot ball, end of the over, 137 for one. Clark 33. Hughes on 80.
Yeah, I think they'll take a lot from how Slater's bowled. I think economy-wise, he's been the pick of the bowlers. Yeah, I think if you look at him, just over 7.5. He's mixed his pace up. You look at the way McAndrew bowls. I think that's what they'll look to do. Maybe bring the keeper up. It's quite a slow pitch, so it's definitely going to be the way they go forward, I think. And they'll be formulating that, all the bowlers will be talking about now, how they're going to go about bowling at each end as well. I think mixing the pace up looks the best way.
I think they've got a resort to, that's going to be Matt Critchley.
Critchley's back on, yeah.
Yeah, so 1 over for 12. He's in a deep discussion there with Simon Harmer.
I think they're obviously going to go towards the pavilion. I think definitely have a go at him here.
137 for 1 as in comes Critchley. Over the wicket bowls to Tom Clark, who pulls that firmly onto the onside. In fact, pulls it firmly. It's beautifully placed as well. There are 2 fielders guarding that leg side boundary. Neither of them had a chance. Lovely shot from Clark. He goes to 37, 141 for 1.
Yeah, he just held his shape a little bit there. He didn't try and overhit it, and I think that's been a theme of Hughes' innings especially. So, and you know, Clark is going really well now, 37 off 33. So, if he can just keep holding his shape, then these guys are really going to set it up.
Critchley in again, bowls, and Clark uses his feet, clips that ball down to long on. They've taken 1, there won't be 2. Clark settles for the single. He goes to 38, 142 for 1. Partnership 108 between these two. We had a record 5th wicket partnership last night with Allsop and Simpson. We'll have to look at what the second wicket partnership is. In comes Critchley, bowls hammered away by Daniel Hughes out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. 1 more to the total. Hughes goes to 81, 143 for 1.
Yeah, it definitely looks like spin is the harder one to play, I think, but
Critchley over the wicket bowls, and Tom Clark looking to pull that one away down the ground. He got a bottom edge, an inside edge, runs to square leg, picks up a single.
Yeah, I just think, you know, get through this over again. 5 overs, they've got to be looking at kind of 210 plus here, especially with the firepower they've got to come. So I think it's more now the bowlers will be starting to pick up clues about the pitch, where best to bowl.
Critchley in bowls, and Tom Clark with a swing and a miss, and this very good partnership has come to an end. In fact, it's Daniel Hughes who's the man out, looking to pull that one away on the leg side. He's stumped by Adam Rosington, and back at wicket for Matt Critchley. And we'll just turn up the effects mic and listen to the applause for Daniel Hughes as he makes his way off. Super innings from Hughes, 81, 5 sixes, 8 fours. That's been quality stuff, Chris.
Yeah, and it just highlights what a good tournament he's had, and I think that puts him kind of 450. So he's had a really good tournament so far, and I think we've got now Tom Allsop coming in. It's getting to that stage where they've got another batter comes in, and you know the opposition will be thinking, right, another strong player comes in. Then Simpson, you've got Coles, McAndrew, you've got a lot of hitters coming in, and it's becoming quite a formidable batting lineup.
Interesting, we're talking about batting orders and fluidity, because James Coles has been batting at 4, but they've obviously changed it around again. Could that be to get the informed player in, or would it be that he's another left-hander?
So, I mean, Coles is in form as well. He whacked it in the week, didn't he? So I just think that they're in that lovely situation where they might be looking at you know, Critchley. They might be thinking, right, well, let's take Critchley down. He's going to be the danger bowler at the moment. Again, you've got Coles to come in as well. The left-handers have done well so far, so
yeah.
It's a good position to be in. They've got McAndrew and Coles to come as right-handers, Simpson as well, so again, it is a very luxurious position to be in.
Critchley in, bowls to Tom Allsop, who works on. Watch how fast Tom Allsop runs between the wickets. They've taken 1, they're thinking about 2. They decided not to come back. It was very much a feature of the innings yesterday. End of the over, 145 for 2. Clark on 39, Allsop on 1. Live cricket here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey. Myself, Adrian Harms. Delighted to be in the company of the former Sussex opener, Chris Nash.
Yes, it's the scary thing when you watch someone like Tom, and the way he runs, it's so quick.
Yeah.
And I think back to when I started, some of the pace we had, we weren't quite the same. And if you ran 2 to the boundary at all, you were kind of lucky. So
who was the fastest when you were playing between the sticks?
Chris Jordan was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so quick. Andrew Hodd is a very quick runner. I used to enjoy batting with righty and joystick because they weren't. So we didn't really bother too much.
Well, just used to deal in 6s.
I wouldn't say that. It was. I think you just found your tempo with certain players. You know, righty was a good one. He didn't want to run too much.
145 for 2. 5 overs remaining. Tom Allsop is on strike. Slater is in. Bowls to Allsop, who's very, very quick. He's down the other end already. They're looking for the second run, looking to put the fielders under pressure. The throw, you could tell the field was under pressure there. The throw came in, it was backed up, but Allsop picks up a single. He goes to 2. Good hockey player, Tom Allsop.
You can see, can't you, the way he sweeps the ball. You can always tell a good hockey player. Wayne Madsen the same.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're very. You know, you can see the way they reverse sweep, the way they sweep. There's a different way they hit the ball. So they kind of get low to the ground.
In comes Snater round the wicket, bowls to Tom Clark, who plays that into the offside to extra cover, picks up a single. He goes to 40 and the Sharks won 47 for 2. Yeah, I stand corrected. I think something like England under 18, something like that. It was a seriously. I think he's got a brother who's a very good hockey player as well.
Yeah, you can always see people. I mean, you can generally pick up other sports from how they play cricket. You can see they might have played, like Hamilton Brown was rugby. He was amazing in the field, going side to side.
In comes Snater, bowls, also works that one away into the offside, just a single.
Yeah, hockey definitely lends itself to cricket. You can see, I remember Wayne Madsen was very good reverse sweeping before people really played it as much. He would get down and sweep people, so you can definitely see it in Tom as well.
148 for 2, Allsop on 3, Tom Clark on 40. We're in the 16th of the 20 overs as Shane Snater makes his way back to the end of his run. He's coming around the wicket to the left-handed Tom Clark. Down the hill here at Hove, bowls
shot.
And pulled away. That's a maximum. That's a super shot. Smash. That cost a lot of money, that new scoreboard, you know. And it's hit the scoreboard. Nonetheless, it's gone for 6 runs. Beautiful pickup by Tom Clark.
Yeah, getting, I mean, he didn't look to try to hit it too hard. He just looked to hold his shape, waited for that fuller ball. Generally, Snater's kind of bowled back of a length and mixes his pace up. So again, he's going really well now, and it's a free hit as well. So he's got the real chance to go kind of double up here and get to 50 and kind of he's off and running properly.
Presumably it was a front foot no ball.
I think so, yeah.
So 156 for 2, Clark on 46. This will do his confidence a world of good. Tom Clark, he was out for a duck last night, but he's made up for it tonight. In comes Snater, bowls, and Clark hammers that one away, and he's just going to get a single out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. Of course, he couldn't have been caught anyway because it was a free hit. 157 for 2. Does that put a bit of pressure on? What is it like when you face a free hit, Chris?
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, the worst thing is if you face the no ball and then, I know, it might be hits you on the thigh pad or something and you run down and your mate gets to hit it. But it's one of the nicest things when you first go in, because if you do, it just frees you up, and if you make clean contact with it, even if you don't hit a boundary, it does get you off and running.
Snater into the left-handed Allsop. Allsop hammers that one away. That's gone miles. Straight down the ground, over long off, 6 runs, and Tom Allsop is in terrific form. And maybe it's not hard to understand, Chris, why he's been picked up in the 100 by the Southern Brave. Super shot.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good indication of how well this Sussex side are doing, of the amount of guys that have been picked as wild cards. Not many. I don't think we had many people in the 100 last year. Maybe Millsy and Ravi, but it just shows the way this team have played their cricket this year, that the 100 teams are picking them up. It is a very, very good sign that guys are getting picked up, that's for sure.
Tom Clark has currently equalled his best T20 score, which was 47. In comes a Snater down the hill, bowls to Allsop, but that's going to be 4 more. That just looked like clever cricket.
Again, it does go on from what Hughes was doing. He was looking to go over, and it doesn't look like they're that clear. And they've had Snater's been hit over mid-off and extra cover quite a few times. He's not very quick, but they've got a guy out at deep point, so it just looks a little bit muddled at the moment. But then again, that's because of what Sussex have done, the pressure they've put them under. They're hitting the ball in areas. Every time they hit it, it's not going to the fielders, which is a good sign for Sussex, not so much for Essex.
167 to 2, still 4 overs remaining. It looks like Paul Walter is going to bowl the next over from the C end of the ground. He's just bowled the 1 over so far for 12, and he's just having a look around the field here. Simon Harmer to see who's going to give the ball to, because Sussex are on top.
It's a tough one. I mean, that's the thing. It is quite short boundaries here, so you know that when guys get in, they can clear the boundaries. I imagine Walter generally goes into the pitch quite short. He'll look to get hit to the longest part of the ground. But if Clarkey holds his shape, definitely down the hill towards the kind of the grandstand. There's no reason why he can't clear the ropes a few times.
Details of Daniel Hughes' innings: 81 off 43 balls, 8 fours, 5 sixes. He was striking at 188. So he'd settle for that for an opening bat. Paul Walter, tall man, running away from us. Comes into bowl to the left-handed Tom Clark, who's beaten outside of the off stump. The ball goes through to Adam Rossington, and and there is no run. I often wonder in this sort of situation, Chris, I mean, these two are, I mean, Tom Alsop has only just come in, but he's hit the ground running. Is the onus on the guys that are in now, so, you know, if someone else comes in new now, you've always got to go for it straight away?
I think, you know, you're in that position, you don't really have to worry. I think everyone's got to go from ball one and try and hit pretty much every ball for boundaries. So, yeah, there's no pressure on now, you can go for it.
Walter in over the wicket, bowls, and pacey delivery. A good carry as well through to Adam Rosington, so 2 dot balls to start the over. So
Yeah.
remains 167 for 2. Sorry, Chris.
Oh, no, I definitely think when you come in this situation as well, it's up to you to kind of get boundaries from ball one, and that's Alsop's obviously coming. He's in form, but 13 off 5 is the perfect start. You don't want to be coming in and getting 6 off 6. It can kind of take the life out of the innings. So he's done the right thing and got going straight away.
Walter in the bowls. Clark pulls away onto the leg side, gets a single out to deep mid wicket, gives the strike to Tom Alsop, as Chris was saying, in terrific form. 87 last night, not out, and 13 off 5 balls so far this afternoon.
And it is the beauty of kind of playing. If you play a lot of games in quick succession, you can really get a run going. It works both ways. Yeah, if you're not playing well, 3 innings can go very quickly. But if you are playing well, you can score quite a lot of runs quite quickly. And obviously to go from last night, come in today, he probably won't even feel like he's had a sleep, and he's straight back out there, which is great.
In comes Walter over the wicket, bowls to Alsop, who hammers that one away. Is it going to be fielded? It will. A sliding stop out on the cover boundary. Well, they were thinking about coming back for the second. Tom Alsop was keen, but I think Tom Clark was probably right to send him back. Alsop goes to 14, the total to 169 for 2. In fact, Danny Lamb was telling us a couple of weeks ago, there was a game here under the lights, and he said, I won't get to sleep till 3 o'clock this morning. He said,
No.
he said it's the lights.
Was he out in town, was he?
Well, probably. In comes Walter over the wicket, bowls, played down the ground by Tom Clark, and that's a good shot. It's a full toss, belted down the ground, gun barrel straight. Good shot by Tom Clark. He goes through to a well-deserved half-century. He's on 52, the Sharks 173 for 2, and that's Tom Clark's highest score in T20 cricket, in a fine innings as well.
Yeah, he played really well. He was what's he, 7 off about 14, and
yeah, one off 8, I think.
Was probably looking to overhit a little bit, and I think Dan Hughes had a good chat with him, and getting through those bits. He hasn't only played a handful of games, so these experiences will be great for him and really develop quickly.
Walter in bowls, and Clark looking to uppercut that, but he looks towards umpire Adam, who says it isn't wide. End of the over, 173 for 2 at the end of the 17th. Alsop on 14, Clark on 52.
It's nice. Well, I think Clarkie's parents can stand up now and they can stop hiding, so they probably won't be as worried. But yeah, I think what's nice to see is sometimes you get through that, you know, 1 off 7, 7 off 14. It's easy to give it away and play a big shot, you know, feeling the pressure. But he's actually got through it, got his head down, worked it out. You know, it does look like quite a slow pitch, but he's definitely got, you know, worked it out throughout the innings. He's held his shape better, targeted the right boundaries, and he's in really good shape to finish off the innings well.
Well, Sam Cooking's going to bowl the 18th over for Essex, and I would imagine that he's going to bowl his full allowance. He's so far bowled 2 overs, but he's gone for 25. Simon Harmer already bowled out the skipper at 4 overs for 36. The only wicket takers even. Shane Snater 4 overs, 1 for 43, and Matt Critchley at 1 for 20 in his 2. In comes Cook, bowls, drilled away by Alsop down towards third man. They've taken 1. There isn't 2 there. Throw comes into Rosington.
This looks a much better. It looks a much clearer field actually. If you watch the guys who bowled down the hill, and Snater started well, but I think they just got really predictable. I think Hughes, Alsop, Clark have all figured out what he's trying to do, and they had mid-off up, and they just kept going over mid-off or over fine legs. So it looks like he's going to go very wide, and then with the odd slower ball.
174 for 2. Cook in again. Bowls, and Clark hammers that down, and that's going to be 4 runs. That's a lovely shot by Tom Clark. Belted down the ground, through mid-off. 4 runs. He goes to 56, and the Sharks 178 for 2. And when you say about working things out, I mean, is that sort of during the innings you're talking to your partner and you're saying, this is what is happening, field placings, etc.?
Yeah, I think they became too predictable. The best bowlers will constantly change in their plans. They realise they've been figured out, they'll move for something different, but it feels like they've got a bit predictable here.
178 for 2. Cooking again, bowls to Tom Clark. It's wide outside the off stump. Tom Clark's annoyed with himself. He didn't make contact with the ball. Nonetheless, he's on 56. Tom Alsop is on 15 off just 7. The Sharks 178 for 2. With 2 overs and 3 balls remaining on a lovely afternoon at Hove. Sussex, as we've said before, have qualified for the quarterfinals. 2 wins from the last 3 gets them a home quarterfinal here in the first week of September. In comes Cook, bowls to Clark, who works that one down the ground, picks up 1. They were thinking about 2 again, but it wasn't there. Quite difficult to run 2s here sometimes, Chris.
I'm not sure for these. I think for these guys it's all right, but yeah, you've got to get it right. If you cloth it and it just kind of gets to the edge of the circle, you've got a chance. But if you do hit it with any power straight at the fielder, you know you're not going to get close. Yeah, these guys are so quick now. If it's not quite at the fielder, they can probably get back for 2.
Cook on his way around the wicket, in and bowls, and Allsop hammers this one away onto the leg side. They picked up 1 to deep mid-wicket, but again it's just the single. As the throw comes in, 180 for 2. Clark on 57, Allsop on 16. Do you think the standard of fielding has improved since you're, in general in T20?
A lot, yeah. I think the athleticism has improved a lot. I think the amount of work that goes into it, but also for players now, the amount of T20 they play. You have to be a very good fielder. You have to be at a certain level. So I think the standards have just gone up and up and up.
Cook, final ball of this, the 18th over. He's in and bowls, and he's bottom edge that, Tom Clark, but he's got away for 4 runs. Well, Sam Cook looks sort of ruefully with his hand on his chin, but Tom Clark really won't worry about that. He goes to 61, and the Sharks in a great position here, 184 for 2, with 2 overs remaining.
Yeah, I just think that the quality of catching, I think the amount of fielding practice that goes in now with the amount of white ball, but most guys are playing like Paul Walter, Rossington, they're playing around the world in the winter, where they're fielding all winter. I think the fitness side of it just keeps going more and more. So yeah, I do watch the fielding. Maybe it's just I was getting older and it was getting harder, but I watch the fielders now and I think, wow, I can never do that. But
I'm trying to think where you used to field.
Me and Wrighty used to fight for 45. Did you? We used to run out and there'd be a fight to see who could hide at 45. we had our moments, but then as you get older, you try and find a way to hide.
Here comes Paul Walter, penultimate over, comes in and bowls to Tom Allsop, who clips that one away down to fine leg. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2, but again it isn't really there. The throw was a really poor one. Comes in, but Clark and Allsop had settled for the single, 185 for 2. I thought Luke sort of quite fancied him in the cup, fancied himself in the cup.
He did. I think as he got older, as age catches up with you, and he used to be mid-on when he was a young pup. But yeah, there were times we would run out to the pitch and both kind of put our flag down at 45 and say, I'm having this one.
In comes Walter. Overlook bowls pulled away down the ground. Is he going to be caught? No, he's not. In fact, they will come back for a second on this occasion. That's very good running by Tom Allsop. He didn't get all of that, Tom Clark. It came down here to mid-on. Throw came in from Michael Pepper, but Tom Allsop is so quick, he was running to the danger end. And Clark picks up 2 more. He goes to 63, 187 for 2.
You'd like to think that maybe 2 15s on the 10 balls left, another 20, 30 runs. It's going to be a good score. It doesn't look an amazing pitch. It looks like it's been used. It's been going for 10 days. So
yeah,
I definitely think it's taking a bit of spin.
Walter away from us, comes into bowl to Tom Clark. Clark hammers that one onto the leg side, and again 2 fielders on that leg side boundary. He's completely bisected those 2 fielders. Tom Clark goes to 67, 191 for 2. At this rate, I'll have to interview him tonight and say that his mentor was in the commentary box.
What's nice is he's learned, he's got better and better. He's holding his shape, and it does look like the value of having someone in at the end, someone who's seeing the ball well, has picked up the pace of the pitch. He's hit, I think the last probably 10 balls he's faced, he's scored really quickly. So really chuffed for him at the moment. He's playing really nicely.
Partnership of 47 already between these 2. In comes Walter, and is he going to? Having said that, I think he's going to get caught. Or is it going to fall between the 2? It's his day, Tom Clark. Throw comes in. We ought to ask him for his lottery numbers as well. He goes to 69, 193 for 2. Yeah, he's perhaps earned that bit of luck.
He has. He's played really well. As I said, I think after getting through that start to, 69 or 50, he's striking really well, but he'll take a lot of confidence as well. And it's another batter in form for Sussex as well. Everyone's had their days now, so it's very encouraging as they kind of move out the group stages.
Walter, 2 more balls to go in this over? Yes, 2 more balls. He's in. Bowls to Tom Clark. Clark pulls it away again on the leg side. This time it's straight to the fielder on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and that's the 50 partnership up between these 2 that's come in very quick time. Daniel Hughes was out at the end of the 15th over. Sorry, the end of the 14th over. So 3 and a bit overs. These two have added 50 runs. So Walter walks back to his mark. Tom Clark on 70, comfortably his highest T20 score. In and bowls to Alsop, who leans back and eases that one away over cover. The ball's in the air a long time. Out into another not very good throw comes in, but Adam Rosington manages to stop it. End of the over. Sussex in a great place here. 195 for 2. Tom Clark on 70. Tom Alsop on 80.
Yeah, again, it's another good example of how Sussex are playing their cricket this year. They're going to hit 200 again, and that's almost every time you look at the scorecard, it's 200 plus. So they're just, I think what they're doing is playing clever cricket, but with a real freedom. And you watch it, everyone who comes out to bat is playing with quite a clarity from ball one, but they're taking the positive options at all stages. So it's lovely momentum. I think obviously this is game 12, so they've got 2 more group games, and then it's almost a shame they're going to have that big gap until September for the quarter-final, because you build all that momentum, everyone knows what they're doing, and then you kind of break away and play a bit of 50 overs and everyone goes off to other comps. So it's a shame that they have to wait so long for the quarter-finals.
Sam Cook running in down the hill, bowls to Tom Alsop, who hammers that down the ground. That's a super shot. He's absolutely middled that. Races away, and that's the 200 up for Sussex. No, it's not. It's 199 up for Sussex. Nearly 200. Lovely shot though by Alsop. Yeah, they made 203 last night, Chris. They made 200 against Hampshire. Yeah. It's just the game against Glamorgan was Duckworth Lewis, but
they were on for it, I think.
They were, yeah, they were. Glamorgan made 235. So you know, it's been a lot of runs for Sussex this season. 199 for 2. Alsop on 22 off 11. Comes in and bowls, and he's been dropped. Or is that a bit harsh? He was going to club that one away, and he's been, would you say he's put down there by Robin Das?
Adrian, 45 is a tough position to field. I'm not going to judge him too harshly. I think he stopped it.
Did they come back for a second?
They did. Yeah. I mean, it almost came down to the boundary.
Yeah,
so it just shows when you do hit the ball down this hill, it goes so quickly, and it's not a big boundary.
201 for 2 are Sussex. Cook back to his mark. Tom Alsop 24 off 12. Picking up where he finished last night at Canterbury. His in comes Cook round the wicket, bowls. Also looking to club this way on the leg side where they've picked up a single. The ball ends up with Elgar, who's just in front of umpire Chantry at square leg. So it's just a single. 202 for 2. Alsop goes to 25. Tom Clark on strike with just 3 balls to go in this Sussex innings. Tamel Mills losing the toss, and Sussex being asked to bat. Tamel said he would have batted first anyway, as Cook turns at the far end of the ground and comes into bowl to Tom Clark. He's in and bowls, and Clark eases that one away through the offside. He's going to pick up a couple of runs. Fielded over on the cover boundary. 2 more to Tom Clark. He goes to 72. I'm not just saying this because Sussex are doing well this season, Chris, but one of the problems I think with T20 is, I think if you win the Southern Group or win the Northern, I think you should almost automatically go to finals. I was thinking, if you've been good enough, because you could win your group, win 14 games and lose in a quarter final.
Yeah, you're right. There should be maybe a bit more like eliminator kind of.
Yeah. In comes Cook, bowls to Clark, who's hit on the pad. There's a loud appeal for LBW. It's not given. Total goes up by 1. 204 for 2.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, the other thing though, if you win it, you get a home quarter final, and obviously for someone like Sussex, another home quarter final would be a great earner for the club. If you see a day like today, if you could have another one of them, it's going to be great. So I do agree. It's, if you do win your group, you should go straight through to finals day. But again, I also understand that generating
finances
revenue
and all that.
Yeah, every county needs it. So
final ball of the innings is going to be Sam Cook running into bowl to Tom Alsop, who is going to be caught off the final ball. It's put down. That is an absolute howler. That really is. Robin Das has he can't believe it. He's got his head in his hands, his head is bowed. I reckon if someone drops a catch like that at Horsham this afternoon, they'll have to buy a jug. 200.
If they do it at Horsham, I'll be on them, that's for sure.
That was a howler, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, as I said, 45 is a tough position to field, and I'm sure Wright will back
Hi, Tim. Yep, so the players are just about to come wandering out. You've probably got a minute. How long you got on this piece? I reckon it'll be about right by the time the players come out. The Sussex lads are just... Okay. Well, this is going to finish about 5:30, so we'll see. Yeah. Really? Really? Jeepers, I need. Well, in that case, we'll keep an eye on Duckworth Lewis as well. Seems like it's a beautiful. I mean, there's a bit of, to be fair, there is a bit of cloud up over the downs. But I mean,
it never came from that way. I spent all my time watching the weather at this place, and it never came in from there.
Where did it come from? The sea?
It used to go up the river there, up by Shoreham. It used to go up the river. Yeah, I think it always comes up to Shoreham and then goes up the river. Me and Jason Leary spent many hours looking for rain.
Yeah, we're about to start. Okay, I'll start commentating. Ollie Robinson making his way in from the C end of the ground, in and bowls to Rosington, who's on his way straight away, nudges that one down towards third man. Very good bit of fielding down there at the far end of the ground. I think the Sussex fielder's hurt himself, actually. Yes, thank you, Tim. We're just underway at the start of the Essex innings, and I think we've got an injury here. The first ball of the innings was played, I think it's Harrison Ward. Ollie Robinson bowled it outside the off stump to Adam Rosington, who clipped the ball down to third man. And Harrison Ward came racing around the boundary, a tumbling stop. And Chris Nash sitting next to me, it looks like he might have hurt himself, you know.
It looks like he just landed awkwardly on his shoulder, actually.
We're certainly getting some attention down there, so we have got a delay. I don't know if the 12th man has come on. I would imagine that they probably have, because we're going to carry on. Ollie Robinson, so we have to keep an eye on that, running in to bowl to Rosington. He's in and bowls. Rosington pulls it away on the leg side, and he's going to be caught by the clock tower scoreboard. Safe as houses. Tom Clark doesn't drop those, and a wicket goes down in the second ball of, well, what a dramatic start. 2 for 1. We've got poor Harrison Ward off the field, looks like he's been injured, and then Sussex pick up a wicket with the second ball of the innings.
You kind of, apart from the first ball, it's been a dream start, really. You don't want an injury, but I mean, to get Rosington early, he is very dangerous, scores quickly from ball one. So yeah, just kind of a bit, kind of a tame start, really, wasn't it? Kind of clothed it out to deep square leg, and quite an easy catch for Tom Clark.
Well, we were talking about Ollie Robinson and the way that he's bowled in the power play. I was just looking, Chris, I mean, he's only picked up 10 wickets, but it's the economy rate that has been the thing. And I have to say, I've said it throughout the campaign, actually, he's looked a very trim, fit Ollie Robinson. And I don't know if you saw the live stream down at Bristol, he got a fantastic run out as well.
Yes, I did see that, yeah.
Which was really good.
What's nice, look, I mean, just looking at your notes there, is how many guys are in double figures for wickets. I think, again, you've got lots of, the top 6 are scoring runs, and the top 5 bowlers are all taking wickets. So you get to a stage of that, there's no coincidence that they're going to be pushing to finish top of the group with a very strong Surrey side.
I think Harrison Ward is going off the field, you know. Let's hope that's nothing too serious. As in comes Ollie Robinson running in up the hill to bowl to new man who's Michael Pepper, and Pepper drives into the offside, well footed by James Coles. Gets in the throw. That's a brilliant bit of fielding by James Coles. I mean, difficult to tell from here, but the reaction of the fielders was, if that had hit, Pepper was struggling.
Looked close, didn't it? Bounced up nicely for him, but yeah, moved quickly. Looks like Carson, is he coming to the pitch? Yeah, it looks like. No, it's actually Henry Croker, I think, to come onto the pitch. Is it? 12th man, or I'm not sure. I can't really see in front of him, but yeah, maybe Scott Curry.
Just trying to see. Yes, it might be. He's fielding up there at mid-on, Chris.
Deep square leg, I think, to the left-hander.
Oh, is he? Sorry, yes, you're right.
He's come on for Harrison.
What am I talking about? In comes Robinson to bowl to Dean Elgar, who clips this one away back to the square on the leg side, and he's going to pick up a boundary. Is Dean Elgar just Ollie Robinson just straying in his line of length there and clipped away, and Elgar picks up a boundary, and Essex are 7 for 1. Yes, I think that's right. But Harrison Ward has certainly gone off the field. He's gone up the steps to the pavilion, so we hope that's nothing too serious. 7 for 1 are Essex, needing to score at 10.5 and over if they're going to win this game, so they can't hang around.
Yeah, definitely to get going early, and early wickets will be the key for Sussex here.
Robinson in bowls to Elgar, who plays this to backward point, and there is no run. Now, we were hearing, Chris, that it's raining at Goodwood. Now, it's a little way from here, Goodwood, so I'm going to keep an eye on Duckworth Lewis. I say that, but there's a pillar right in the way of where it gives the Duckworth Lewis score.
Well, I mean, we were talking about off air, weren't we? But I mean, I used to spend a long time looking at those clouds, kind of wishing they would come in and rain. But I just have a feeling it does drift past there. And Jason Louis was a keen weather watcher, and when it rained over there, it never used to come in over us.
Robinson in bowls. Elgar flicks this back to the square on the leg side. They've taken one. They'll think about coming back for two. There's a misfield out there, actually, as the throw comes in. I think you're right. I think that, whether that was Jack Carson who fielded that, I think, way down in the distance. End of Robinson's over. 8 for 1 with Elgar on 5. Pepper on 1. As a professional cricketer, Chris, did you ever used to watch the weather forecast? I mean, there's many a time I'm watching a championship game.
Did I watch the weather? I think most cricketers I know probably had 4 or 5 weather apps.
Really?
I think Alex Hales had about 6 or 7 weather apps, and yeah, you did, because if Hove was a funny one. Even if it said like 90% chance of rain, it was still a good chance it wouldn't rain, and it would come in here, and then it would, obviously because of being by the coast, it would come in and then go quite quickly. Whereas if you went to Birmingham or Old Trafford, once it started raining, you knew you were done for the day. So he was quite excited when it started.
James Coles, 15 wickets in the blast already this season. Left arm spinner comes in. That's a full toss. Elgar hammers the ball down the ground. It hits Michael Pepper, the non-striker. And after all of that to do, it's a dot ball. Rather lucky to get away with that, James Coles, who T20 best figures last night, 4 for 12. Having picked up 4 for against Hampshire on Wednesday night as well. He's in on bowls, and Elgar pulls this one away down the ground. He's going to get a single down to long off, fielded by Tom Alsop.
Unfortunately, the advent of a lot of the good drainage, floodlights coming on, meant you didn't get as many rain days. Sometimes you play at the outgrounds. If it rained, you knew you were done for the day. But floodlights, good drainage, kind of scuppered that, which was frustrating.
Pepper, right-handed Michael Pepper waits for James Coles. Essex 9 for 1 in pursuit of this 208 to win. Pepper drives, and that's a good shot. Just used his feet and timed the ball beautifully over mid-off, and picks up his first boundary. Nice looking shot, 13 for 1. Pepper on 5.
Yeah, they've got some good power. Elgar I imagine they'll look to bat round Elgar. He'll look to bat through, but guys like Pepper can strike the ball cleanly from ball 1. I think Rossington was a very big wicket. He can get going really quickly, and especially when you're chasing 200, you do need to get a good power play under your belt.
Coles in again from the Cromwell Road, in left arm around the wicket, in and bowls, and Pepper's added again, and that's going to be 4 more. Again, took a step away to the leg side, just lofted the ball away over mid-off for 4 runs. Tamal Mills just having walking. Ollie Robinson, who's been quite key actually, I've noticed during these T20s, giving advice, offering advice. I just wonder whether they're going to move that long off back on the boundary now, Chris. Yeah, they are.
Looks like it, yeah.
17 for 1, so Tom Alsop's going to stay out there on the long off boundary.
Yeah, square leg will come up.
Look, where's the other fielders out on the pitch?
They've got a cow out there underneath the red stand.
Oh right, okay. Crumbs, I need to get these glasses done again. in comes Coles around the wicket bowls to Pepper, who's pulling this one away, and that's gone many a mile. That's gone for 6 runs. That's pulled away over square leg. That's a good shot by Michael Pepper. So an expensive opening over from James Coles, who's gone for 6, 4, 4 and a single. So 15 off this over so far. And I think there's just 1 ball remaining. 23 for 1. Good shot that, Chris.
Yeah, good shot. I think kind of made decision for him, brought square leg up, so he knew that he was going to go across it. Again, just it's good power hitting, and you see young players now. This guy, he's been around for a couple of years now, but
yeah,
he can strike from ball 1, and that's what most players grow up doing now. So they can play all around the wicket, they can reverse sweep. That was a good hard sweep, so they can go 360.
Just pausing where the ball comes out. Did you used to get on well with opposition players, Chris? I mean, I know here sometimes they would go for drinks in the. I'm sure there might be something you didn't, but in general, did players used to get on and have a beer, or how did that used to work?
I loved it. But I think nowadays you play around the world a lot. People play franchises, play club cricket, whatever. You go abroad, you bump into guys. So it was one of the nice bits of cricket. And then when you finish playing, you realise how important it is as well. You know, all the friends you made, and you got up to Lords for the day, and you bump into all your old mates. So it is good fun.
In comes Coles, Round the wicket bowls, and Pepper's got a bit of bowling by James Coles. Michael Pepper's annoyed with himself, but James Coles will be pleased to get out of the over. 23 for 1 Essex at the end of the second over. Pepper on 15, Elgar on 6.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things you get to play. You know, we're very fortunate to play pro cricket, but it's a lovely thing to be able to meet people and you
totally.
know, I mean, I know John Simpson. We played in Cape Town club cricket against each other, so we got on well out there, and you make so many friends, and then it's a lovely thing to be able to have when you finish playing and have a beer with someone and say, I remember that, and you take the piss out of each other, and it's all part of it, because although it's serious out there, you know, it's not life or death, it's just a game of cricket. So the more fun you can have, the more people you can meet, it's only going to make it more fun.
Ollie Robinson is going to bowl the third over of this innings, coming into bowl to Dean Elgar, who's 6 not out, 23 for 1. He's in and bowls, and Elgar with a swing and a miss. There's a bit of pace on that from Ollie Robinson. John Simpson taking that round about chest high, and there is a dot ball, 23 for 1, Elgar 6. Pepper on 15, and we were saying just as we were making a cup of tea, you keep in touch with quite a lot of Sussex lads as well. I know they have players' reunion day here, don't they?
Yeah, we've got it in a few weeks actually. So yeah, it's funny, you know, you kind of live with people. I mean, me and Joyce used to room together and spend more time with each other than we did with our partners. So yeah, you do become very close, and it's nice to stay in touch. And
Robinson in bowls. Wow. Oh, that's a cracking. How has that missed the stumps, Chris?
Not sure. I mean,
well, I missed the stumps, missed the outside edge as well. Brilliant.
I think it's gone through the middle as well. It's gone over middle and off, I think. Yeah, great. I mean, he's hitting the pitch hard here. None of their guys really got it through that much. But he's definitely hitting the gloves hard.
And sorry, we'll come back to the thing about former players. Just with regard to Ollie Robinson, is he the sort of guy you would know? Is he the sort of guy who sees a bit of criticism and he thinks, I'll show you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You don't get to where he is or where he has got to with England without kind of being able to deal with criticism and come back stronger. So
Robinson in bowls to Elgar, who doesn't time that at all, plays to mid-on. It's just a single.
And I mean, generally speaking, you know, if you guys have got to this level, and especially to the top level, they've dealt with a certain amount of criticism and kind of come out swinging. A lot of people get criticised, and sometimes that's the end of their careers. So generally, people here would have received their criticism on a local level, and then to play for England, you know, Ollie's had his fair share of criticism in the press, but he's still flying in. He's still bowling really well, and obviously he's got amazing stats in county cricket, but brilliant stats for England as well. So I wouldn't discount anything in terms of where Ollie Robinson will go.
24 for 1. Yeah, that innings here against Leicester. I'll come back to that in a moment as Robinson runs away from us in bright sunshine. The rain is staying away for the moment. In and bowls, and Pepper looks to drive that one down the ground. Thick outside edge. The ball ends up down at a deep backward point, fielded up there by James Coles, and it's just a single. 25 for 1. I don't know if you were here for that Louis Kimber innings.
I was trying to do some work actually, and I was with Matt Machin,
okay,
former Sussex lad. We were having a chat, and he was supposed to go for lunch with someone else about 12:30, and we started at 10:30. He left about 1:30. So I've never seen. You kind of looked up and you thought, oh, this can't go on forever, and it just kept going and going.
In comes Robinson around the wicket, bowls, and is that going to be given as a wide? No, it. Just wait. Umpire Chantry is looking umpire, and I think it has been signalled. Just
I just think that was one over.
One for the yeah. That doesn't look particularly happy at the far end. Nonetheless. 25. Yeah, what was impressive, because Ollie Robinson went for 43 in that over. What I thought was good, talking about Ollie, was he came back, he got the wicket of Ben Cox.
Yeah, he got 4 for 9, was it 4?
Yeah, and despite going for 43 in an over, the other overs he bowled, he went for 5. He took 5 for 98. So, but no one mentioned that.
No, exactly. I mean, you're going to have the headlines, social media, and everything, aren't you?
Robinson in bowls, right up in the block hole, and chases down the wicket as Ollie Robinson kicks the ball at the stumps, but Elgar was back in his ground. And what a good over that is from Ollie Robinson. Just the 2 runs coming off of it, just what Sussex needed. And Essex are 25 for 1. Pepper on 16. Elgar is on 7. And it looks like the skipper's coming into the attack.
Yeah, no, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, being able to, if the game does start getting away, to be able to bring someone in like Millsy, who can bowl 90 mile an hour, mix his pace up so well, can certainly change the pace of the game. And I think any team in T20 is always looking for someone who can take wickets in the middle overs. Obviously, we're not quite in there yet, so he's come on a bit earlier than expected. But just having him up your sleeve instead of him having to bowl the first over, having to bowl the third over.
He's coming in from the Cromwell Road end, coming into bowl to Michael Pepper, who's 16 not out here on BBC Radio, Sussex BBC Radio. Sorry, Adrian Harms and Chris Nash on commentary duties this afternoon in bright sunshine as Mills is in around the wicket, bowls to Pepper, who Nurdles that one out into the covers, picks up a single fielded by James Coles, 26 for 1. And you were saying, Chris, about former players and a former player's day. What do you all do? Do you all sit around and reminisce? Oh, what else? What you totally go reminisce and a few stories. And
we're a lot better now than we were when we played. I'll tell you that.
Bet you were. Yeah.
We all talk about how good we are and how rubbish everyone else is and how the game's gone to pot and all that. No, it's just nice to catch up, check on how people are doing, and leaving the cricket can be tough, so it's nice to have a little network and make sure everyone's okay. And
in comes Mills over the wicket, bowls, clipped away by Elgar. There's a good shot through mid-wicket. He picked up one. Tom Clark is very quickly round on that square leg boundary and gets in the throw. Good fielding by Clark, good running by Elgar. Good cricket all round. 28 for 1. Elgar on 9, Pepper on 17.
Yeah, you share so much. We live together for 9 months of the year, really. So you do share a lot. You have some really funny moments. That changing room is a sacred place where,
of course,
stuff happens in there, and you just laugh about it for years to come. And I play golf with Righty or Joyce. We don't talk about the cricket really. We just talk about the stupid things that happen. So it's great.
In comes Mills. Running in over the wicket bowl, slower delivery, played into the offside by Elgar, and more runs here for Dean Elgar. He's going to pick up a couple of runs. Tom Alsop is in hot pursuit out towards the cover boundary. Elgar goes to 9. The total goes to 30 for 1 in the 4th over. Essex needing to score here at 10.8 and over. You talk about sharing rooms. I thought it was a capped player. You've got your own room.
I think there's differences. Here, obviously, budgets weren't quite as big here as maybe when you got up to when I went up to Notts. So, it was very much. I think the captain got his own room.
What did you get? A 4-poster when you were in?
Got your own suite. I think as captain, you were given your own room.
In comes Mills, bowls.
But he's got him.
Has he bowled him?
Bowled him, yeah.
Yes, he's bowled him. Well, it's a swing. Elgar can't believe it. He's looking behind. I thought for a moment when he said you'd got him that he'd been caught behind, but he must have just brushed the. Elgar can't believe it. He's wandering off.
He's bowled, so he's got to go.
Yeah, he has got to go, but he can't believe it though, Chris, can he?
Well, I mean,
he's going to talk to Michael Pepper and he's saying, what happened?
It's not really that windy.
Is he suggesting the bails might have blown off?
God. Well, it clipped the top of the stump. It was quite clear, but not sure you can really contest being bowled, can you? Is that not something I've seen before?
Well, you've got better eyesight than I have, but I have. But when he's on his way is the thing. And Smell Mills, interestingly, he's brought himself into the attack. First thing he does is get a wicket.
Yeah, and that's what. Again, he's an impact bowler. We haven't seen him bowl as much in the power play this year because I think the way they went after Coles obviously changed. You had to change quite quickly and change your tactics, but having that ability to bring Millsy in as opposed to having to start with him, I think has been a big difference with this team this year.
So good captaincy by Tamal Mills, and immediately having taken that wicket, he's bringing Tom Alsop in as a slip. As the new batter is Robin Das, 30 for 2. Sussex having a good power play here. Mills, Cromwell Road, a little skip and a jump as he makes his way in around the wicket bowls, and that's a pretty good shot to play first up. It's a little wider outside the off stump, and he just helped the ball down to the third man boundary for 4, and immediately Mills responds, and I think he's going to take Tom Clark out there.
Yeah, I think with the pace he's got, I think which way the wind's, it looks like the wind's coming kind of down the hill, so yeah, I think that's going to be the safe option with the pace. It's always amazing fielding at slip to Millsy. You're literally on the edge of the ring, and it feels, especially kind of down the bottom of the hill, you feel miles away. So if they do edge it, it kind of comes quick, but it takes forever to get to you.
I wouldn't fancy being in the slips to Tamal Mills. I have to say, he comes running in and bowls, and down the leg side, and that is signalled a wide by umpire Agnam at the far end of the ground. 34 for 2 are Essex. They need 208 to win. With Pepper on 17, Das on 4. In fact, there was a game here when Tamal Mills was bowling. It was a T20 game. Again, we were outside. It was against Glamorgan. Mark Wallace, the former Glamorgan keeper, was summarising. And I'll finish the rest of the story in a minute as Tamal Mills is on his way. Still the slip in place. And bowls to the right-handed Robin Das. He's in and bowls, and Nash drives nicely. That's a very good stop, excellent stop at backward point. I think that's Jack Carson in there. It's Danny Lamb.
Yeah.
And he rings his right hand as well, but it was a good stop. It entered a certain boundary. They took a single, end of the over, 36 for 2. Pepper on 17, Das is on 5. Yeah, and Tamal Mills was bowling down the hill. There was a little nick through to keep. I think Michael Burgess might have been keeping at the time, and I said, oh, that's a a straightforward catch. And Mark Wallace looked at me and said, that is not a straightforward catch. He said that'll be dipping and moving all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, being so far back and kind of you get so much bounce. So yeah, you're a long way back, and especially with that new ball, it can wobble about all over the shop. So keepers got gloves on though, haven't they? So it's easy, really.
Nathan McAndrew is going to. We've got someone with a radio somewhere down below us. If that's a noise you can hear on our effects microphone, I think it's one of the stewards that we can hear. But Nathan McAndrew, who's here just for the next 2 games before he goes back to Australia, is in and bowls, and up on his toes is Darson. Steers that to a backward point, picks up a single. He goes to 6, and the total to 37 for 2.
That's another real kind of downer, isn't it, on overseas players, because you're going to have one team for the group stages, and then you have to almost change your team completely for the quarter-finals, which is kind of not ideal.
No, totally. So I'm thinking who goes back. So Nathan McAndrew goes back. Daniel Hughes is here for the duration.
Yeah.
And J. Devon Nudkat, who's coming over for the championship.
Yes.
I noticed he has played T20 cricket.
Yeah.
In comes McAndrew, that's ramped away by Pepper, and that's some shot that's gone all the way for a maximum. That is a terrific shot.
That's clattered into the sight screen as well. That's not just gone. That's gone a long way up the hill as well.
He goes to 23. I mean, don't get much time to play that sort of shot, Chris.
No, I mean, it's one of those, once you're committed, there's no way out, is there? It's either going to hit or be hit. So
and is that very much a shot that's come in since your days, or you see it a lot more now? Did you train for that sort of shot?
Yeah, we started to do more. I mean, when I was playing early on, it was like you'd play 90% of the time 4-day cricket, and then you'd have a little slog at the end, and that's really changed.
McAndrew in bowls to Pepper, who defends into the offside. There is no run well footed by Coles.
So I think it was the structure of how you trained. It was very much, it was 4-day cricket, and then you'd have a little bit of fun at the end where you'd practice a bit of white ball stuff. Whereas as the years went on, the 2020 got bigger, the franchise stuff came in, and it was more focused practice, and it became more kind of 50-50, and you'd practice those shots a lot more in nets, whereas it used to be not getting out. You tried not get out in a whole net.
In comes McAndrew, bowls, and that's a nice looking shot, clipped away, slightly over pitch by Nathan McAndrew, and that's a lovely shot by Michael Pepper. He looks a good cricketer. You watched him up at Chelmsford a couple of times. He just clipped that one away through a wideish mid-wicket, or wideish mid-on, really. 4 runs, lovely shot, proper cricket shot.
Yeah, it's
27.
It's really nice when you see players that they can do the paddle sweeps, they can play these shots, but they can also play proper cricket as well. And I think I was reading something the other day about players who have kind of grown up playing some 4-day cricket, become really good T20 players. They'll generally score a lot more runs because they can kind of deal with being in and out of form better, because they've got those basics. But this guy looks like he's got those basics as well.
In comes McAndrew, bowls, and he's pulled that way. That was too short for it. He hasn't got all of that, but it's going to race down the hill. Once it goes over the infield here at Hove and starts to roll down the hill, it is very difficult to overtake it. He goes to 31, and Essex 51 for 2 here in the 5th over.
Yeah, I think that, it can happen like this. With a power play, you get one guy going, it can happen quite quickly. But once you get out of this power play, take a couple of wickets, it can change quite quick, because they've got to keep going at this rate just to have a chance. Yeah,
the run rate required is 10.3 and over. As in comes McAndrew, pulled away. More runs here, down towards fine leg. Fielded way out in the distance by Tom Clark, but Pepper comes back for a couple of runs. So an expensive over from Nathan McAndrew, and Essex at the end of the 5th are 53 for 2, and that over, Chris, went for 17.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more pressure on them, really, isn't there? Because I think they need to win this game to kind of stick themselves up with the quarterfinal. It looks like there's 5 teams in with a shout, really, in the South Group. So this is a huge game for them. So obviously a huge game for Sussex as well, just to keep winning. But I think the pressure will definitely be on them. If they can get a win today, they're going to be with a good shout at the quarterfinals themselves. So I just think you just got to hold your nerve. You're going to have overs like that in the power play, and there's enough experience out there to know sometimes that is just the way it goes.
At the same stage, Sussex were 44 for 1. Ollie Robinson, interestingly, is going to bowl the next over, but he's going to change ends. He's going to bowl from the top end of the ground. Ollie Robinson, 2 overs, 1 for 10 so far, and he's coming into bowl to the right-handed Robin Duss. In comes Robinson, bowls. Oh, he beats Duss. Oh, in fact, he's nicked that behind. John Simpson takes the catch. Well, I'll tell you what, it can't be luck, these bowling changes that Tabal Mills keeps on making. He keeps doing it game after game after game. Robinson comes back on, wicket taken, just what Sussex needed.
Yeah, what's nice is that, I mean, he's brought him on to get a wicket. They've got a bit of momentum, Essex there. Pepper's going really well, so he's brought Ollie back. He's not just trying to get out the power plays, he's trying to take wickets. So you could just see it. You can see with the Sussex team at the moment, the way they're playing, they've got the tails up. Everything they do is a positive option. The batters are coming out to score from ball one, and the bowlers are looking to take wickets. So that's when you see a team in a very good place and with momentum, the crowd with them. You can see that every time someone comes on to bowl, they're trying to take a wicket.
I thought that was the case last night as well, actually. There was a stage where Kent never really looked like getting there, but there was just a stage where, I forget who it was, started to get after the bowling a little bit, and immediately, I think it was Moyei, who made 45, but they changed the bowling around, and it looked like a really attacking move. It wasn't to stop runs, it was to take a wicket.
Yeah, it's easy, you think, all right, the last over the power play, let's get out the power play, 60 for 2. And then you kind of get through that middle bit, but it's no, let's bring one of our strike bowlers on down the hill. He's come on, taking the wicket straight away. So you can see the intent there from Millsy, and that will go through to the player. So Ollie's coming on knowing he's going to hit that pitch hard and take a wicket, as opposed to just trying to get through it.
Ollie Robinson 2 for 10 in his third over. He's in and bowls, and Walter is caught. It's 2 in 2 for Ollie Robinson, and that's a brilliant catch. An extra cover, and Walter is on his way. I'm just trying to pick who took the catch.
It was Dan Hughes, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Good spot, Chris. And Walter is on his way. So there you are. You bring Robinson back. He picks up a 2 in 2, and now Essex in all sorts of trouble. 53 for 4, and Ollie Robinson in a hat trick.
Yeah, no, it just changes so quick. Especially when you get that many runs on the board, it's amazing how the pressure's always on. They've got to keep going. They've got to keep taking risks, and you're always a wicket away or 2 wickets away. Realistically, Critchley and Pepper now, they're going to be the key. But again, 1 or 2 more wickets, and it's probably game over.
Hat-trick ball, get them all in for the hat-trick, Chris. They've got 2 slips in place. It's not too often. I don't have a short leg in as well.
I think 2 slips is enough, and but yeah, he's just going to keep banging out length, and that's what Ollie does really well, and that's what he's been doing well all competition. So again, he's pushing up 15, 13 wickets or something like that now.
Yes,
and
he is. Yeah.
So you've got a lot of bowlers taking wickets, a lot of batters scoring runs, which is great.
So Ollie Robinson in front of a packed house at, I was going to say packed house at Lords, a packed house here at home.
Really.
Let's listen to the crowd. In comes Robinson, down the hill, bowls, and the hat-trick is averted. Matt Critchley made sure he got into line and just played it to backward point, fielded there by Danny Lamb. And so so far it's a double wicket made in a T20 match, so that's pretty good from Ollie Robinson.
Oh, it's great as well, with a crowd like this, and when they experience an atmosphere like this, that's going to make them want to keep coming back. And there's another game next Friday, so hopefully they'll turn out for that, and there's a good result tomorrow as well. Then everything's on a high in the country,
Yes,
which would be great.
It will, as Robinson is on his way down the hill, bowls. Ooh, Critchley with a swing and a miss outside the off stump, goes past the outside edge, taken by John Simpson. He's got the ball on a bit of string here, Ollie Robinson, at the minute. Yeah,
I think you can feel everyone's in it. I imagine it probably feels like there's a bigger crowd than there is at the moment, and Essex guys are probably just thinking about surviving now. So that's been a good spell, and again, another really good decision to bring him back. Millsy brought himself back on straight away. Elgar was out. Ollie's come on after a big over, and straight away taking 2 for. So very, very good captaincy.
Robinson, final ball, fifth ball of the over, in and bowls, and Critchley drives. He's going to get runs here through backward point. James Coles is in hot pursuit. I'm not sure he's going to cut that off. The outfield is lightning quick despite all the rain we've had. So Critchley picks up a boundary. He goes to 4. Essex to 57 for 4. One more ball remaining in the over. A bit of a tale of woe really for Essex at the moment. Rosington 2, Elgar 11, Walter without scoring. In fact, first ball, and Robin Darce out for 6. Michael Pepper holding things together. He's 33 not out. Essex needing to score the best part of 11 and over here. Robinson, the final ball of his third over, running in down the hill, bowls to Critchley, short, pulled away by Critchley, and that's going to be another boundary. A bit too short from Ollie Robinson, and Critchley crunched the ball away through mid-wicket, but it's the end of a very good over from Ollie Robinson. Let's settle for that, 2 wickets in the over, and Essex are 61 for 4 at the end of the power play.
Yeah, no, I think you take that. I mean, 61's it's a good amount of runs, but I think being 4 down makes a huge difference. I think stats-wise, it's like if you lose 3 in the power play, it gives you a real a much reduced chance of winning the game, especially chasing 200. So I think Sussex will be delighted. You're going to go for runs here. The boundaries are short, the ball disappears quite quick, so it's all about taking wickets, and it's the mentality I think that Sussex are showing at the moment. They're going after wickets in that first 6. There's going to be big overs, people are going to score runs, so it's definitely a kind of a good reflection of the mentality of this team.
Are you a down the pub man tomorrow night, or watching it at home, or what are you doing?
I'm getting old now. I've got like the comfort of my own home, my own sofa, and not having to worry about anyone throwing beer at me and stuff like that. But,
and listen to the match.
Yeah, exactly.
It. In comes Danny Lamb over the wicket bowls and clips onto the onside by Michael Pepper. They're going to look for 2 here. That's good. Well, there was always 2 there, I think, if Critchley had come back. But having said that, Tom Clark is very quick across the ground. And it's just a single to Pepper. He goes to 34, 62 for 4 are Essex in the 7th over. Run rate required 10.6 and over. And no sign of the rain here that they've got down the road at Goodwood, which is I
told you, who needs a weather forecast?
Yeah.
Ask a bitter old cricketer.
Bitter old pro. In comes Lamb, bowls to Critchley. Now he does play this onto the onside. Now there won't be 2 here because Danny Lamb is very quickly across with a sliding stop and prevents a second run being taken. I can't see the complete Duckworth, Lewis, Chris, but it says 80 something.
85, I think it is. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it looks like it's. I mean, as I said, Jason Lurie has said it would always go up the up Shoreham River. Yes, I think we'd always spend there kind of hoping it would come over, but it wouldn't.
In comes Lamb, running in over the wicket bowls, pulled away, but only as far as Tom Alsop, who's at deep. Square leg, backwards square leg, gets in the throw, bowling to his field, Danny Lamb, 64 for 4. I don't know if you saw the catch they took last night where Tom Alsop palmed the ball back. It was a brilliant piece of fielding, and Nathan McAndrew completed the catch, but it was Tom Alsop's night last night. He was just terrific in the field and batting as well. Yeah,
I mean, he's been brilliant since coming from Hampshire.
No, he really has.
He's been a real addition to this squad. It's been great.
Lamb in and bowls. Pepper looks to pull the ball away on the... Critchley looks to pull the ball on the leg side, but all he can do is play it down to mid-on where it's fielded by James Coles. Critchley to 10. Essex 65 for 4. I'm just looking who else down their order they might... I mean, possibly Simon Harmer late on, but...
I think these two.
These two.
This is the big partnership, really. Harmer could be more towards the end of the innings, but these 2 need to bat the bulk of the overs.
Lamb in, bowls, pulled away to the leg side. Is he going to be caught? All bad luck. Well, I think Tom Clark was always in 2 minds whether to go for that. In the end, he did go for it. He got his hands to it, and he's annoyed with it. I just got the feeling there that he decided to commit to it a little too late. Would that be fair?
I think that maybe the wind just held it up a little bit as well. It's always tough. I mean, he kind of had free rein to go for it because it wasn't going that quickly. So I think even if it had gone past, it wouldn't have gone for 4. But
he always looks like he's quite hard on himself, Tom. In comes
because he knows I'll criticise him.
In comes an ball, pulled away. Well, this time there's no question about that. That has gone many a mile, and Tom Clark would have needed a step ladder to get anywhere near that. It's pulled away by Michael Pepper. That's a good shot over mid-wicket for 6 runs. He goes to 43. Essex 73 for 4 at the end of the 7th over. At the same stage, Sussex was 60 for 1. So Essex up with a run rate, but they've lost 3 more wickets.
Yeah, and I think it just shows how Hove is very much a kind of it's a game of 2 ends, really. When you're batting at the top end, it feels, especially as a right-hander, it feels a much different game. Hitting down to this area, generally it's downhill, it's with the wind. Facing at this end, especially with the pace of Millsy, with Ollie Robinson last over, it's a very different game. It's harder to hit back up the hill. You do feel a bit more hemmed in. So it's one of those where probably if you were batting, you'd want to get through this over and then go again the next over and keep doing it like that.
Terrell Mills running down the hill, coming in to bowl to Critchley, who eases that one down to 3rd man, fielded right down in front of us by Danny Lamb, who gets in the throw. Critchley goes to 11, Essex to 74 for 4. If you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Surrey, I'm Adrian Harms. Chris Nash, the former Sussex opener, next door to me. Sussex making 207 for 2. Daniel Hughes top scoring with 81. Tom Clark making 72. In reply, Ollie Robinson has picked up a couple of wickets. In fact, he's picked up 3 wickets, 1 for Terrell Mills. And Essex 74 for 4 in the 8th over. In comes Terrell Mills, bowls to Michael Pepper, who slams that one up to mid-off. The throw comes in from Nathan McAndrew, misses the stumps, but plenty of people backing up Well, now another throw comes into Simpson that wasn't a good throw at all, but much to do about nothing, just one single taken. Pepper to 44, Essex 75 for 4.
Yeah, I think Millsy's definitely come on to try and break this partnership, and yeah, if he can sneak one out now, then you'd say it's pretty much game over. But I think if you're batting at this end now, you're probably thinking, hit it behind square. It's going to be tough to hit back up the hill, get through to the next over.
Mills in, bowls to Critchley. That's a stylish looking shot. Very good bit of fielding by Daniel Hughes in there at short extra cover. That was a beautiful shot, beautifully timed, and Hughes was diving goalkeeper style.
Yeah.
And prevented a boundary.
Yeah, great shot. I mean, he's a really good cricketer. So you've got two very good players here. They hit the ball very cleanly. So yeah, it was a hell of a shot and a great bit of fielding.
A win for Sussex in this game takes them top of the South Group. Surrey in action tomorrow, the current leaders in the South Group. They play away at Chelmsford tomorrow afternoon, as Tamal Mills is on his way. Skip and a jump coming around the wicket to bowl to Michael Pepper. He's in and bowls a slower ball, and Pepper just eases that one almost into the gully region, and there's no run. Clever bowling by Mills.
Yeah, but I mean, that slower ball of his, it's the gap in pace between his quicker ball and his slower ball which makes it, if you bowl 82 mile an hour and your slower ball, there's never going to be that big a gap, but his fastest ball's 90 odd mile an hour. So when he brings in that slower ball, and it kicks off the surface as well because of his height. So yeah, he's a very tricky customer to play against.
76 for 4. 2 balls remaining in this, the 8th over. Mills coming into bowl to Michael Pepper, who's on 44. He's batted well. Mills is in bowls. Pepper pulls that one away on the leg side, only as far as Ollie Robinson, who comes in from backward square leg to field, right on the boundary. One more, 77 for 4. And he's had a lot of injuries to Tamal. He's had a lot to deal with. I would imagine he works very hard on that. Yeah,
he's kept himself in great shape, and he actually looks really fit at the moment. He's playing kind of every. I mean, I know he rested last night, but he's playing a lot more than he used to. So
yes, definitely.
It's almost like I think sometimes as you get older, you know how to manage your body better, and he's probably hasn't been playing as much around the world as well, so he's probably a bit fresher for this summer. So, but he looks in great nick and looks fit and well. Obviously touch wood.
In comes Mills, bowls. Critchley eases that to backward point, fielded there by Tom Alsop. Good over from Tamal Mills, 77 for 4. Pepper on 45, Critchley on 12. That run rate is just creeping up. It's up to 10.9 and over that Essex need here.
Yeah, the 8 overs gone. So I think if it stays around that kind of 11 mark until 13 overs, you're okay. I think if it starts to creep up now, then it can get out of hand quite quickly. So it'll be interesting to see how Coles goes this end. They might have to take a punt against him to try and get ahead of that run rate again. But again, if there's a little bit of turn like there was earlier with Harmer, it could prove to be quite tricky. This is probably when you want a left-hander in, actually.
Yeah, James Cole's opening over went for 15. As he comes in from the sea end of the ground, comes into bowl to Michael Pepper. Pepper swings that one away, and he swung that away down towards fine leg, and he's to pick up a boundary. Here's Michael Pepper. That's a good shot. He goes to 49 at Essex to 81 for 4. Just straying in length a little bit there, James Coles.
Yeah, he's a tall guy, and he's got good reach to get that kind of behind square, because it's not easy to get the ball. I mean, that's probably on just outside off stump, so he's done well to kind of reach out and get that behind square. But he definitely looks like he's going to target this short boundary.
In again, bowls to Pepper, who plays that in the air, but safely enough through mid-wicket. Tom Clark is very quickly in from the mid-wicket boundary, throws on the bounce to John Simpson. One more to Michael Pepper. That's a very good half century. 15 is 21 balls for Michael Pepper, who raises his bat.
He's played really well there. He's coming from ball 1 there as well, and really, he targeted Coles, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
In that first over, but he's played some really good shots.
5 4s, 3 6s for Michael Pepper. He's currently striking at 245. In comes Coles around the wicket, bowls, and very good take by John Simpson down the leg side, who whipped off the bails as well, but it was down the leg side, and that's a wide. John Simpson repairs the bails. Matt Critchley waits. Coles in again, bowls, and Critchley defends. The ball just dribbles out on the onside, I should say. Simpson round very quickly to field from behind the stumps. Jack Shantry isn't happy with the stumps. He says they're not straight. So John Simpson has to do some repair work. Umpire Shantry's happy, and James Coles is in to bowl to Critchley, who drives back to James Coles. Good delivery that from Coles.
Yeah, I mean, it's bowling in that power play, it's never going to be easy. It gives so many options for the batter, but he's come back really well here.
Coles in again. Bowls. Critchley just dabs that out onto the onside. Coles is very quickly round, throws at the stumps, doesn't miss by very much, but I think Critchley would have been home. Total goes up to 84 for 4. 1 ball remaining in this, the 9th over. The run rate is just inching up all the time. It's over 11 now. 11.1 and over.
Yeah, they won't want it to go up kind of above 12s in the next 2 or 3 overs, that's for sure. Otherwise, it starts to become quite tricky.
Pepper waits. In comes Coles and hammered away. Now, is this going to be caught? No, it's not. It's a good shot by Michael. He's got away for 6 runs. Pulled back kind of square on the leg side. I thought for a moment that Tom Alstott was interested, but it was a long way away from Tom Alstott. But Michael Pepper is keeping Essex in with a shout here. He's on 56 at the end of the 9th over. Essex are 90 for 4 at the same stage as Sussex were 80 for 1.
Yeah, so you can see as well, it's I think Hughes did it as well. It's quite clever. He's seen that the wind's going across to that corner of the ground, and he's looking to get the ball up in the air that way. Hughes did it earlier, kind of coming down to fine leg, down to the corporate tents on our right. So it definitely seems like the guys who've worked it out have been quite clever with where they're hitting the ball, hit the ball with the wind, hit to the shorter boundaries for them. It's definitely been the more successful route.
Nathan McAndrew back into the attack. He's bowled 1 over so far that went for 17, but he's coming in from the Cromwell Road end, down the hill, comes in and bowls to Critchley, who is caught. Really good catch down at fine leg, because that was going very fast, and Jack Carson, who's got a very safe pair of hands, that was a good catch. It was straight to him, but it was going like a rocket. So another bowling change works. And McAndrew back into the attack, picks up a wicket with his first ball. Yeah,
that was flying as well. I think, another yard up and a yard either side, it was 6. But it just shows, I think that's 4 of the 5 wickets have come from the bowlers at the top end. So
good spot.
I think, especially when it's your home club, when it's your home ground, you get used to that, and you know which end to attack and which end not to attack. And actually Pepper's worked it out. He hasn't really gone hard when he's been facing at this bottom end, so probably a bit of naivety coming from some of the Essex players to know that this is the harder end to bat, so not to play big shots.
Interesting you say that, Chris, because last year Sussex was shocking in this at home. They won 1 out of 7, and spoke to Tamal pre-season at the press day, and he said, well, we've got to be better here. We need to use our knowledge of this ground. So it's interesting you say that.
It's a unique place to play. The wind generally blows the same way. It blows from the southwest.
Yes.
Southwest. I should know that, really. I have to get my compass out. It generally blows across that end, so you know there are certain areas that are going to be easy to hit. You know you've got the slope. This is a shorter edge for right-handers. So, yeah, but then it takes time as well. You've got a lot of players who are new here. Tom's only been here a couple of years. John Simpson's first year. So maybe they just figured it out quickly and started to get used to the dimensions of this ground. There's no point trying to hit certain areas unless you're, a super big hitter, but you haven't seen a lot of 6s go down towards the players' changing room, that's for sure, and that's because of the wind and the dimensions.
The new man in is Charlie Allison, who faces Nathan McAndrew. Flicks that ball to mid-wicket, fielded out there by Brad Curry, who's the 12th man on for Harrison Ward, who left the field off the very first ball of the innings, fielding a ball up near the changing rooms, and we hope that Harrison is okay. Michael Pepper's being brought out a new pair of gloves, I think. And you would think a lot of this now, for Essex to have a chance of winning this game, a lot of this depends on Michael Pepper.
Yeah, and for Sussex now, it's a case of get Pepper off strike, put the pressure on the new batter, and that will in turn put pressure onto Pepper. So he's pretty much scored the bulk of the runs at a very quick rate as well. So I think they'll be focusing on how they can get him off strike, bowl at the other guy for a dot or singles, and very quickly it's going to be probably 12, 13 and over, so it looks like a lot's on him, really.
McAndrew running in towards us from the Cromwell Road and bowls to Michael Pepper, hammers that away, but is it going to be caught? No, I think it is just going to go over the head of James Coles. It goes out towards the changing rooms. Really good fielding by James Coles. Throw comes in, excellent stuff, just saves a single, just James Coles. That was really good and a real feature of Sussex's performance last night at Canterbury. Yeah,
you see that as a fielding group as well. It doesn't really seem to be any weak links, and I'm here quite a lot, and they do a lot of work on their fielding, and they're out here, working on the boundary, you talked about that boundary catch yesterday. It's something they do a lot of work on, so it's definitely a feature of this squad as well.
McAndrew, 94 for 5. He's in and bowls to the new batter, who is Charlie Allison, plays that down on the onside, and there is no run. And you're down there in the winter as well, Chris, working. So what do you see in the winter? Are they sort of running around the pitch? Or
I think those days of kind of doing laps are a bit different. Most guys are off, playing either franchise cricket or abroad. I think generally they're in the indoor nets, and I've got the heating on full blast. So
did you used to have a bit of time off at the end of the season?
Yeah, I enjoyed playing club cricket abroad. That was always good fun.
Yeah. In comes McAndrew bowls, Allison again defends, plays it into the offside. Very quickly in from backward point is Tom Alsop, but it's a single. Total goes to 95 for 5.
But yeah, I mean, it used to be a thing you'd finish the season, go straight out to Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, go and play 6 months club cricket. But now, the amount of franchise cricket that's on, more players are getting to do it. So it might be a 6-week stint here, and then you play the T10. So it's a lot more fluid, I think. I think younger players generally, if they haven't played T20, will go out and play club cricket abroad, which is, I think, great experience, great fun. As you get more experience, there are more opportunities now.
McAndrew in bowls to Pepper, who slams that one away through the covers, but only as far as Tom Clark, who's fielding in front of the clock tower scoreboard. It's the end of another over for Essex, who are 96 for 5 at the halfway stage. At the halfway stage, Sussex were 94 for 1. So Essex with their noses in front in terms of the runs that they've scored, but they've lost 4 more wickets. Michael Pepper is on 60.
Yeah, I mean, that changes the whole dynamic. It's literally down to Pepper, I think, to score the bulk of these runs. He's going to have to score them quickly. So it's whether he just holds off a little bit. Maybe if you get to 5 overs needing 14s, 15s, there's a chance. But yeah, you can't wait too long because the rate will climb quickly now.
Yeah, the rate, as Chris was saying, already up to 11.2 and over. It's Danny Lamb who's coming into bowl, but Michael Pepper clearly wasn't quite ready, although there's a bit of chat going on either way. Jack Shantry signals that's a dead ball, and Danny Lamb has to go back to his mark. This is the C end of the ground and runs away from us, comes into bowl to Pepper, who's forward and nudges that down the ground to mid-on, fielded by James Coles. One more to the total. Pepper goes to 61 and Essex to 97 for 5. Here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey. Sussex a win today, they go top of the South Group. And then one more win would ensure they've got a home quarter final here in the T20. Surrey, of course, also well placed in the group. And there's a host of clubs, including Essex, who are scrambling for the other qualifying places. In comes Lamb, running in bowls to Allison, who clips that one away through mid-wicket, but it's only a single field out there in the safe hands of Tom Alsop. One more to the total, 98 for 5.
Yeah, the role of Allison, I mean, if he comes in and chews too many balls, it's going to put even more pressure on Pepper. So you almost want to take the pressure off Pepper. If Charlie's going to come in, and he's going to have to score quickly from ball 1, really take some risks. He's got to be the one that takes the risks at this time, I think.
Lamb in bowls. Pepper clips that one away. It's just going to be another single out to Tom Alsop, fielding out there at deep mid-wicket. One more to the total. It goes to 99 for 5. But the run rate, Chris was saying how quickly it goes up. It was 11.2 at the start of the over. It's already up to 11.5.
Yeah, it goes so quickly, especially when you're chasing this many runs. So again, that's why that batter coming in has got to score from ball 1, otherwise it will jump up too much.
Lamb in bowls, nice hammered away. That is a nice shot. That's a super shot by Charlie Allison. It was slightly over pitched and it was drilled away through extra cover. Lovely looking shot, brings up the Essex 100, 103 for 5, and Allison goes to 7.
It's also, you can really see how easy it is batting one end compared to the other. So batting this end against Millsy, against Ollie Robinson, McAndrew's been really difficult. A bit more bounce, kind of you're hitting up the hill, whereas batting, facing Danny coming up the hill is going to be generally a lot easier. Just the way they put the pitch is, and the boundaries feel a lot easier when you're standing that end. So I think they're going to have to really push when they're batting at that end, and maybe the other end just kind of get through 6 7s off that over.
So far there's 7 off this over. In comes Lamb again, bowls down the leg side. That will be signalled a wide, taken by John Simpson. Danny Lamb runs back towards his mark. Was very conscious of cut-off times and all the rest of it. Bright sunshine here at Hove. Danny Lamb down in front of us in his second over. Runs away from us, comes into bowl to Allison, and Allison plays it away nicely through the covers, but it's only a single to the sweeper on the cover boundary, who's Brad Curry, gets in the throw on the bounce to John Simpson. Allison goes to 8, 105 for 5. Run rate required 11.2 and over. Duckworth Lewis is 120 something, so Essex certainly behind.
Yeah, they've just got to hang in as much as they can. They've lost the wickets. If they can just hang in and take the game as deep as possible here.
In comes Lamb, bowls to Pepper. Oh, that's a good shot. That's a good shot. He's ramped that over, almost over fine leg for 4 runs. That was nicely played. He goes to 65. Looks a good player, Chris. He goes to 66, 109 for 5.
He just making it look quite easy actually. Those shots. He doesn't move too much. Keeps quite still, but he's creating. Just looks like he's quite intelligent with what he's doing. You know, he's focused on scoring the boundaries when he's batting that end. He's going up, even though it's uphill, it's with the wind, so he knows he doesn't have to get too much on it. But he just looks like he's quite clear in what he's trying to do. So I think if Allison can stick with him and score at a good rate, then they might be able to stick in. And even if it's 60, 70 off the last 5, you just want to have a chance. You know, you've lost the wicket, so you don't have a right to win the game.
Well, interesting off that over. That over went for 9 and 4, 13.
Yeah.
Jack Carson into the attack, the off spinner from the Cromwell Road end, comes in the bowls to Allison, who plays a nice shot away through extra cover, and that's going to race away for 4 runs. The outfield is quick. Stepped away to the leg side and just drilled the ball away through extra cover. Nice shot. He goes to 12 and Essex to 113 for 5.
So you can see they've got a deep backward point, so he's obviously renowned for reverse sweeping, but then it kind of creates that other angle to be able to hit through cover like that. So it's and I suppose that's where analysis comes in and knowing your players.
Carson in and bowls. Allison hammers that one away on the leg side. It's be back-to-back boundaries for Charlie Allison. Away through wideish mid-wicket for 4 runs, and suddenly Jack Carson's under a bit of pressure here, conceding 2 boundaries.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying is that Allison has to score. If he doesn't score, then Pepper will feel under pressure, and then you lose Pepper and the game's over. So he has to play. Even if he gets 25 or 30, he's got to keep the scoreboard moving here.
Carson in again. Bowls. Allison Fordy hammers that away, and that has gone many a mile. That has gone for 6. Oh, well held, sir, at the back of the stand at the far end. But he's clubbed that away over long on for 6 runs, and immediately Smell Mills is running down, having a word to Jack Carson. 14 off 3 balls. Big over, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously you've had Mills, you've had Robinson, you've had McAndrew bowl that top end, so they've obviously seen the off spinner come on, and they know they have to target him. They can't see him off because then the seamers are back. So I mean, it's clever cricket from Essex. He's played 3 really good shots so far. 22
off 9 for Charlie Allison. In comes Carson, a quicker delivery played onto the onside. They've taken 1, and that's all they'll take. Jack Carson fields off his own bowling, and there is just a single, so 10-15 off the over, 124 for 5. Amazing what it does to the run rate as well, a couple of boundaries. Now the run rate required down to 10.1 and over.
Yeah, and again, it just gives Pepper a little bit of breathing space, get through this over. Suddenly it's 8 overs to go, and if you can get to like the 5 overs and only needing 12, 13 and over, it's going to be, it is possible.
Carson in bowls to Pepper, who swings that one away out towards long off. They've taken just a single fielded by Nathan McAndrew. He sort of managed to stop the ball with his leg, I think. Either way, he stopped it, and that's all that mattered. Another single to Pepper. He goes to 67 off, I think that's 28 balls. It says I can't quite make that out on the scoreboard. 125 for 5. Carson in again, bowls to Allison. That's a lovely shot, hammered away over extra cover, and it's another boundary, and that's been an expensive over as far as Sussex are concerned. 129 for 5, so 20 off of the over, and all of a sudden Essex are sort of managing to get themselves back into the game. Yeah,
well, that rate's down under 10s now, but it's what Allison's done there. He's just changed the impetus, takes a bit of the heat off Pepper now as well, and I mean, who's going to come on this end? I think McAndrew's going to come on. But it means they don't have to keep going that hard. They can just see through another couple of overs, keep ticking the game down, keeping 5 wickets in the bank.
Anyone would have thought you would play this game, Chris. You're spot on, absolutely spot on. I was going to say as well, and it wasn't taking the mickey either, but Jack Carson bowling, I wonder what end you like to bowl at.
I didn't either.
Yeah, but you took 49 wickets in T20 cricket.
I know, I know. It's I'd still, it was. Most of them caught deep square leg anyway.
In comes McAndrew, pulled away by Pepper. That's got a huge hit. That's pulled away backward a square for 6 runs. And Essex are on the charge here. Michael Pepper goes to 73. And all of a sudden, Essex fill the room with a sniff here. 135 for 5. And these two, Chris, have added 45 in...
Feels like about 3 overs.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they came together after 9 overs and 1 ball, and we're now in the 13th over. So yeah.
Not been long, yeah.
3 overs and 5 balls.
It kind of looked a bit lost, didn't it? I mean,
did.
Allison's first few balls, he played quite, you know, kind of blocked them down, and then he's just taken that last over.
McAndrew in bowls and cut away to backward point. Good stop. That's not easy to stop that at backward point, but it's a good bit of fielding there by, I think that's Danny Lamb.
Danny Lamb, yeah.
There was another Danny I used to love watching him field at backward point, which was Danny Briggs. I thought he saved hundreds of runs in there.
Great man as well. What a bowler he was, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very, very, one of the nicest guys in cricket.
McAndrew runs away from us. Bright sunshine at Hove. He's in and bowls to Peppo. Plays it to backward point. Throw comes in. Well, just momentarily. Nathan McAndrew wasn't impressed by that. The ball was played out to backward point. I think that's Jack Carson who hurled the ball in, and Nathan McAndrew caught it. They looked at him as if to say, what was all that about?
He didn't want to catch it, because he was pinging that as well.
He's a big fella, Nathan McAndrew. You saw about players when you shake hands with them. Who were you saying earlier had big hands?
Harmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McAndrew's got big hands as well.
It's Harmer's fingers. I mean, obviously, you know, when he bowls, he's obviously very strong, but the size of his fingers.
35 for 5. I interviewed Nathan McAndrew at Northampton the other week. I'll tell you in a minute as in he comes running in and bowls to Michael Pepper. What a clever shot that is. Is he going to be caught? No, he's not. Well, I'll let Chris describe that. The ball is running away towards the boundary at the far end of the ground, and it's a couple of runs only for Pepper, but that was an audacious shot.
It's got this kind of, it's a nonchalant paddle sweep. He just stands there, doesn't he, and kind of changes the background, and, you know, most people panic and roll around and try and flip it over the keeper's head, but he just holds his bat there, and yeah, it looked like he didn't quite catch it at the right angle, so it's gone straight up. But I think the wind's, again, it's clever cricket because he's doing it with the wind, so that means he knows if he gets it in the air, it's going to clear the boundary and the fielders at least.
137 for 5. In comes McAndrew, bowls to Pepper, hammers that one away through the onside. Tom Alsop is very quickly around the boundary. Good fielding by Tom Alsop. Stops the ball in front of the clock tower scoreboard. Saved a certain boundary there, but Essex go to 139 for 5. Pepper on 77 of just 33 balls. These two come together and the score was 90, so a partnership of 49 now between these two. Dragged Essex back into the match. The run rate 9.6 and over. McAndrew, final ball of the over. Oh, crumbs! That's going to be a free hit.
I mean, it's all no ball free hit for us. That's
and
6.
And Nathan McAndrew sort of looks at Michael Webb, says sorry about that, but it was a full toss. It's gone past everybody, so I mean it's a no ball. Does that get out to 6 no balls?
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
So this is
a pretty good
really
beamer. It was a good beamer. If you're gonna measure a beamer, that was as good as it gets.
No, he wants something ball out for himself. Does Mike? I don't know if it's a new pair of gloves.
Yeah.
Oh no. But the two Essex guys ran on with all sorts of equipment, and Pepper sent them packing. But this is a big moment now.
Yeah, this
is a free hit.
I mean, they only need 8 under 9s now. It's come down quick. So if he gets a boundary here,
McAndrew in bowls. Pepper hammers that one away down towards long off. It's just a single, so Sussex escaped relatively unscathed. Nathan McAndrew does not look best pleased as he takes his glasses and caps at end of the over. 146 for 5, and that over cost 17 runs, and there were 20 off the previous over.
Yeah. Rate
required, as you say, Chris, is under 9, 8.9 and over.
Yeah, which I mean, even 5 down is very manageable. And if one of these guys come back, kind of, if these two take it another 3 or 4 overs, they'll probably be in the box seat, really. But you also know you're only a wicket away, and if Millsy's brought himself back on down the hill, so this will be a big over. I think if these two can get to 5 overs left, they're going to probably be in quite good shape.
But at the same stage, Chris, Sussex were 131 for 1, so Essex ahead by 15 runs, but behind on wickets. Yeah, just Nathan McAndrew came out for his post-match interview, and he's like a lock forward. he came out in his shorts and a t-shirt, and he looked like he might be playing rugby for Northampton. He's a big fella. And as with most cricketers, a very nice bloke.
You have to say that with present company.
I do, yeah. But it is true. Michael Pepper I'm sure he's a nice bloke. He's batting very nicely. 78 not out here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio Surrey. Adrian Harms, Chris Nash. We could be in for a cliffhanger of a finish here at home. Tamal Mills, as Chris was saying, has brought himself back into the Sussex attack. 2 overs, 1 for 15. He's coming into bowl to Michael Pepper. Essex needing 9 and over. Mills is in. Bowls and Pepper. Oh, wow. What a shot that is. He's absolutely belted that one down the ground towards the groundsman's hut. And that is a shot and a half from Michael Pepper. He goes to 84 and Essex to 152 for 5. Wow.
I can't quite how hard that shot is. I mean, that's Millsy's, he put 88, 90 mile an hour down the hill, and he's got a good length ball there, and he's hit that over his head for 6. That's a serious cricket shot. And going back, that's proper cricket as well. That's a genuinely very, very good cricket shot. Very, very difficult against Millsy.
And Mills is now going to come over the wicket to bowl to Michael Pepper, who's on 84. What an innings this is. Mills is in bowls. Pepper cuts that one away through backward point, just a single. 153 for 5. Pepper is 85. Chris, I've done 37.
Yeah.
It's some knock.
Yeah. I mean, from ball 1 as well, he came out from ball 1 and he took Coles down, went straight over Coles' head twice, then went to deep square legs. So he's played all round the wicket from ball 1, but he's been really clever as well. He's hit pockets of the ground that are in his favour. He's gone over the infield. He's gone with the wind. It's been a very clever innings as well. He hasn't just slogged.
Mills around the wicket comes in and bowls to Allison, who clips this one away through square leg. The 2 Sussex fielders need to be careful they don't collide. In fact, they don't, and Ollie Robinson gets in a good throw. It's just a single. Applause from his teammates. 8 off the over, 154 for 5. Can Essex almost afford here, Chris, to think, well, Mills is the danger man, we could almost see him out here, or is that a dangerous game?
I mean, mate, personally, yes, you'd be thinking, right, let's get through this over. He's got a boundary already. It's already been a big over. If you get through this over, 3 ball, halfway through, another 3 runs off this over. Millsy's only got 1 left. It's
Here comes Mills, bowls to Pepper, who I thought for a minute had been bowled. In fact, they were going to run a bye. Was he looking to run that one down to sort of third man? Yeah,
it looked like it. But yeah, I mean, if you were thinking, you'd probably be going, right, let's get through this over. Then Mills has only got 1 left. I think Ollie Robinson might only have 1 left as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of the old man in me would say, yes, get through this over, and then you're in a better chance of winning the game. But young lads he's got no fear. The way he's played the whole day would suggest that he might try and hit another 6.
Mills, the sun has gone in momentarily as in comes Mills, bowls to Pepper. He's hit on the pads. I think that was probably going down the leg side anyway. Yeah. Simpson comes from behind the stumps. It's a leg by, 155 for 5.
Well, Duckworth, I mean, they're well ahead of Duckworth Lewis.
Yes, they are. They're way ahead. 140 odd is Duckworth Lewis.
Yeah, they seem quite. Obviously, a wicket would change that quite quickly. But yeah, I imagine they'll look to get through this. It might be they try and take the next over down.
But it's been a good partnership between these coming together when Matt Critchley was out 90 for 5 and the Sussex looked in complete control. It's funny how T20 cricket can change. 65 these two have added. In comes Tamal Mills down the hill, bowls wide outside the off stump, but it won't be a wide because he'd stepped a long way away to the leg side. Had Charlie Allison, end of the over, 155 for 5. Allison on 28, Pepper is on 86, and I just wonder whether we might feel he needs to turn to Ollie Robinson here again.
Yeah, I think it looks like Danny Lamb's going to bowl this one, but I mean, I imagine batting this end. I imagine Pepper might go after this over, try and knock it down quite a lot. He's had success against Lamb already, so it looks like a scenario that favours him. So yeah, I can imagine he might go quite hard at this over, try and get the rate right down.
Run rate required is under 9.
8.8. Yeah. So again, if you need 9, 10 and over for the last 4 overs, you'd back yourself majority of the time. Again, the key thing, if they can pick up a wicket, they'll be 6 down quite quick. So
Michael Pepper, 26 years of age, born in Harlow. Looks like he's been with Essex pretty much all of his career, but he's back. I thought he used to keep as well.
He does, yeah, he does keep, yeah.
Danny Lamb coming in from the C end of the ground. So just under a bit of pressure here. Comes in and bowls to Pepper, who played, I think that was a full toss out to long off, fielded there by Ollie Robinson, who sort of swoops in Ollie Robinson and gets in the throw. Pepper picks up a single. He goes to 87, 156 for 5.
On the flip side, I mean, look, Sussex have qualified, and it's a great game. I mean, the crowd have come in today. It's the biggest crowd we've had all season, so they've seen a great game of cricket so far. So it's, you know, in a way, it's a great advertisement for the T20.
In comes Lamb, bowls to Allison, tucks this one away through mid-wicket. They've taken one. I think they'll come back for the second. Oh, it's a misfield. Just goes to show what happens when you put fielders under pressure. And in fact, they're going to come back for 3 runs, and that's very unusual for Tom Clark to do that. I'm not just saying that because I'm next to Chris, who knows him, but he's generally a very good fielder. But I think you could tell they were coming back for 2, Chris.
Well, it's a bit bobbly down there, isn't it? I mean, when you go down onto his outfield, honestly, it is like a carpet. I've never seen anything like it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Lamb in again, 159 for 5. Bowls, and he's trying that little ramp again, is Michael Pepper. Doesn't succeed on this occasion. Honestly, Chris, I think, you know, we go around the country watching cricket. This is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
This is, you know, this is Lord's standard, this outfield.
Yeah, I mean, Lord's
seriously.
It's unbelievable when you go out, and I don't get to go out on there too often, apart from when I just look out over it. But yeah, it's one of the best outfields in the country. It's amazing. In
comes Lamb to bowl to Michael Pepper. Pepper is beaten outside the off. Good response here from Danny Lamb to that misfield that went for 3. So only 4 runs off the over so far. Went 159 for 5. Run rate required again, just sneaks over 9.2 and over. Pepper 87 of 42 balls. Tremendous effort by him. These two coming together when the score was 90, so they've added what? 69. In comes Lamb, bowls, and again he beats Pepper outside the off stump. This is a good over from Danny Lamb.
Yeah, it was good. You saw Ollie Robinson ran to him before the over, and he was talking about the field, and that's the bonus they've got. They've got such experience out there now. You know, Ollie's coming and talking to him every over. He's at long off, and you could see he was kind of pointing down that line of outside off. Get it full. They've got a field set for it, so they've got a plan, and it's working well so far this over, because Pepper's wanted to go down the leg side when he's batted at this end.
Can Danny Lamb get out of this over? Running in up the hill, bowls to Pepper, hammers this one away, and is it going to be caught?
No,
James Cole's he's gone 6 into the corporate hospitality area. The answer, can he get out the over, is no. Did he get all of that, Chris? I thought for a minute it was going to be caught by James Coles.
I mean, but that, you know, it is a short edge down here, down the hill. The wind's kind of drifting that way as well. So once it goes up, it generally. You could see that the rest of the over, he got it full, well outside off stump, and it's almost like didn't quite commit to that one. Probably missed on the wrong side. Sometimes when you're doing that, you don't mind people bowling wides, because at least they're committing to that wide Yorker, but didn't quite commit to that. And I mean, that's the margins of T20 now. And when you got guys, he's not, you know, he was on 87 there, so he's seeing them well.
This is a partnership, Chris, of 75 in 6 overs.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that over from Carson changed it, and then the next over from McAndrew, so it was like almost 40 off 2 overs, really flipped the game.
James Cole's back into the attack, comes in, it's a full toss, and it's going to go, well, it's
inside edge, I think.
It's the game, inside edge from Charlie Allison, and the ball runs down to fine leg, and it's going to be 4 more for Charlie Allison, who's playing a good knock here for his county. He goes to 31, he didn't intend that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it wasn't, I mean, the way obviously Pepper's played brilliantly would be the big headlines at the moment, but Allison's really shifted it with the way he scored.
Coles in again, around the wicket, bowls to Allison, who touches what might be a leg by actually. We'll wait for the umpire's signal at the far end of the ground, and no, came off a bit of bat. 170 for 5. I would say from here, Chris, probably Essex are favourites, aren't they? 8 and over needed, 5 wickets in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, they're 1 over away, really, aren't they? So it's, I think they need 2 wickets quickly. That's the only thing will be the wickets.
Pepper on 93. In comes Coles.
Bowles,
he's at it again. That's a super shot. He smashed that, Michael Pepper, over extra cover. That's a magnificent shot. He goes to 99. Well, we all want Sussex to win, but you can only take your hat off to an innings like this. This has been a quality knock.
It is, I mean, the shots from ball 1 as well, and you look up and he's on 99, you can't quite believe it, but he just played really clearly from ball 1, and you look again, he's gone with the wind to a boundary. He knows if he gets it up in the air, he's going to clear the ropes, so it's been very, very clever as well.
Coles again, Michael Pepper on 99. James Coles is in and bowls, and Pepper nudges that onto the onside. Yeah. Plays it to mid-on, and a very sporting Hove crowd applaud, and that's a tremendous 100 from Michael. But you ain't seen many better than that, to be honest, in T20 cricket. 100 for Michael Pepper, wonderful knock, and he's lifted Essex to within sight of victory. 177 for 5. And Chris Nash sitting next to me, that's quality.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you'd say. It's high quality and easy. There's been no kind of mindless slogging. It's been very, very clever, very clear. Yeah, very, very good innings this.
8 sixes and 6 fours as in comes Coles, bowls to Allison, throw comes in from backward point, fielded there by Danny Lamb. One more to the total, 178 for 5. I just wonder though, when these two got together, they almost had nothing to lose, a little bit like Louis Kimber the other day for Leicestershire, and do you suddenly think, well, now we really can win this, and perhaps that brings a slightly different pressure. Coles in again,
wow.
Hammered away. Well, having none of that is Michael Pepper. He's just absolutely belted that away over extra cover. It's his 9th 6, and Essex to 184 for 5. Well, if they weren't favourites before that over, they certainly are now.
Again, you can watch a player like, when you see a player playing with this clarity, you can see what he's trying to do. You know, he hasn't really tried to hit a ball over towards the changing rooms, because he knows the wind's coming. You know, it's the longest boundary. He's hit to the right areas at the right ends at the right time. But you know, it's that simple. And then actually, when you see players playing like this, they make the game look quite simple. And actually, his innings, you know, although I mean the run rate, the amount of runs he's got is really spectacular. It's been a very simple innings the way he's played it, and that's a testament to kind of how well he has played.
184 for 5. So these two have put on 96 in 7 overs.
It feels like about 10 minutes. Like a minute ago, I think Ollie Robb was on a hat-trick ball, and it's all changed quite quick.
Amazing. Robinson runs away from us. Sussex to do with the wicket. Comes in and bowls to Allison, who swings that away straight to mid-wicket, fielded there by Tom Alsop. And it's a dot ball. Ollie Robinson won't have given up, that's for sure. Essex needing another, 16 plus 8, 24 to win.
24, yeah.
And there are 4 overs left, so really
Yeah,
just over 6 and over.
But these are the hardest ones because they've done this far, and you kind of think, right, we've a bit like with watching
I wondered
Kimber.
that, yeah.
I think suddenly Kimber, you know, in that Leicester game, they thought, oh, actually, right, might win this one, and then you end up losing it. So
Robinson in bowls, full toss to Allison, who leans back and plays that deftly down towards third. That's a very good bit of fielding down there by Nathan McAndrew, who's a big man. He did really well. Gets in the throw, but he can't prevent 3 runs being taken by Charlie Allison, who goes to 36. Essex 187 for 5, and just 3-1 short at what would be a terrific 100 partnership.
And I think the credit, obviously, at the moment, you know, if Essex do go on and less than 6 and over, I think obviously Pepper's played brilliantly, but the role Allison's played, because he came in when it was really tricky and he's walked into it. You know, they've just lost 3 wickets very quickly. Millsy's running down the hill, Ollie Roberts running down the hill, so I think he flipped the momentum really well in that over against Carson, actually, which probably shifted the game quite quickly.
Ollie Robinson in and bowls to Michael Pepper, right up in the block. Well, that's a good delivery by Ollie Robinson. The dust comes up from the crease, and it's a dot ball.
It's been a great game of cricket. I mean, I think for everyone here, they've watched some class innings. They've watched some really good bowling on a really good pitch. Lots of good fielding. It's been a really good day.
187 for 5. Robinson walks back to his mark. We should give Sussex a pick up a couple of wickets here. As Chris said, you know, Essex within. Feel that's certainly their favourites at the moment. Robinson in bowls and pulled away. That could be, no, it's not out. It's pulled away and it's gone for another boundary. Didn't get all of that, did Michael Pepper. You spoke about hitting towards this short side. Yeah. That's exactly what he did again. I
think, and you watched Hughes do it earlier. I think when once Clarkey got in as well, he did the same. So it just shows, you know, T20 it's not just a swing and, you know, hit and miss. It's very much a calculated game of power. And I think you watched everyone who's played well today has actually played really simple cricket, scoring at 10 and over, but I suppose that's the skills that these guys have nowadays.
Well, Essex will fancy their chance if they win this. Just break off for a moment. Big game tomorrow. They've got at Chelmsford. In comes Robinson. Bowls, and Pepper again digs it out, and he sort of jogs through for a single, does Michael Pepper. He goes to 111, and Essex 192 for 5. 1 more ball remaining in this over, and Essex needing another 16 to win, and there are still 3 overs remaining.
I mean, what's so impressive is that normally, you know, you lose 3 or 4 wickets in the power play and you're pretty much done for. So to have lost the 5 when they did, and B, kind of where they are now is shows how good this partnership's been.
I've missed the 100 partnership actually. As in comes
It's a
Robinson, bowls, cut away down towards third man by Allison. They take one, they won't bother coming back for the second. Nathan McAndrew gets in the throw. It's the end of Ollie Robinson's over, the end of the 17th over, 193 for 5, so 9 runs coming off of that over. I'm just looking at, I'm presuming Tamal Mills is going to bowl now because there are only 3 overs left. Mills has got 1 to bowl. Robinson is now bowled out. I guess
McAndrew, I imagine, maybe Coles.
They need wickets, and only 15 needed to win here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the key over really. If Millsy can pick up a wicket or 2 for not many, then they've got a shout. But if they get through this, I think the next over will probably be quite telling.
So the sun has momentarily disappeared as Tamal Mills. Hat-trick would be nice. 193 for 5. In comes Mills to bowl to Pepper, who just eases that one away, just out of the clutches of Tom Alsop, who dives sort of Jordan Pickford style at backward point. Has got his fingers to it, but it was a terrific effort by Tom Alsop. 2 more, 195 for 5. Allison goes to 39. Essex here closing in on victory. They need another 13 of 17 balls. Tamal Mills is back to his mark. Comes a little hop, skip and a jump and comes running into bowl to Charlie Allison. He's in and bowls. Allison pulls that one away on the leg side. They've taken one. They'll definitely come back for 2. Allison goes to 41. You mentioned earlier, Chris, as well, how important Tom Clark was in that partnership with Daniel Hughes, and you mentioned a couple of times there Charlie Allison just is important in this role, and you picked it. You said he's got to go after the bowling here. Yeah,
he could have put a lot of pressure on Pepper, but what he did was he found his moment. He only took 2 or 3 balls to get in, and you see it so often. Guys come in and they're 6 off 10, and then the guy who's in gets out. I always think it's the guy that comes in needs to take the pressure off the guy who's established, because if you lose the established guy, you're done for. So he's played a really good role here.
Here comes Mills, bowls to Pepper. Good bit of fielding at backward point, but he's a good fielder, Tom Alsop. That went very quickly at backward point, and the crowd thought he was out.
It was a crowd catch.
It was a bump ball. And,
but that it shifts momentum as well, and it was all going Sussex's way with Ollie getting 2. I think Millsy got 1, and then the next over from that end, Ollie got 2. So the momentum was completely in Sussex's favour, and it could have been very quickly 80 for 8, game over. But he shifted that momentum and kind of got it going back, and then Pepper's taken it on as well.
In comes Mills down the hill to bowl to Allison, who clips this one away through mid-wicket. No panic now for Essex. They just need to make sure they don't make any mistakes. Allison goes to 42. Essex to 198 for 5. You're right though, Chris. I mean, terrific entertainment. You come here, you've seen 400 runs, load of 6s. Sussex will be disappointed that they're not going to win this game. Well, we don't think
you never know. You never know. Lots can happen.
Yeah, but it's been a terrific game.
Yeah, it just shows, T20 on a nice day at the right time, it works, and
definitely
we could have easily, had bigger stands and filled them out easily today, and it's a great day. So, either way, it's been a really good game of cricket.
In comes Mills down the hill, bowls, and Pepper drives to mid-off. They take the single. Nathan McAndrew decided not to shy at the stumps. I don't quite know why he decided. Perhaps there was I think there was no one backing up actually. I think that was the reason. Pepper picks up his 112th run, and we mustn't underestimate that we've seen a real quality innings here from Michael Pepper. 112 in 51 balls, 9 6s and 7 4s.
Yeah, no, it's been really special innings, and he's a very good player, so it's not unexpected, but it's the manner in which he's done it which I think has been really impressive. Just the way he's been really clever and calculated. He's still quite a young lad, so it's been very clever cricket.
In comes Mills around the wicket, bowls to Allison, who's beaten. Now it's signalled as a wide. The total goes up by 1 to 200 for 5, and Essex now just needing another 8 runs to win. Feel they've probably done the hard work. A partnership between these two of 110, and to be honest, they almost look dead and buried at 90 for 5. But it just shows how these games can change. Mills is back to his mark at the far end of the ground, the Cromwell Road end. Wants Danny Lamb just to go a little finer here on the edge of the 30-yard circle. Mills comes in. down the hill, bowls to Allison, who clips this one onto the leg side and picks up a comfortable single. That's the end of Tamal Mill's work for this afternoon. His figures: he's bowled 4 overs and has taken 1 for 32. Essex 201 for 5, and they need 7 to win. I think Essex will kick themselves all the way back to Chelmsford if they don't win now.
Yeah, I think this will be the over. I think they'll look to finish it quite quickly. This is definitely the end, but I think you always want to aim to finish it with an over to go, otherwise it can get a bit nervy. So,
and let's be honest, Essex went into this game, Chris, in 4th place in the group. They've already won 6 games. They're only 3 points behind Sussex. So they're a good T20 side. I mean, Sussex demolished them at Chelmsford.
Yeah.
But you said they've got some decent players in this Essex side, and they will, they'll be fancying their chances of coming in the top 2 now.
Definitely, it does become a bun fight, especially if Somerset win. I think who are they playing tomorrow? Might be Surrey actually.
Essex are playing Surrey tomorrow.
Yeah.
In comes Danny Lamb over the wicket down the leg side. That's going to be signalled a wide. 201 for 5. So the fixtures tomorrow.
Essex, Surrey.
Essex, Surrey.
Okay, right, yeah. So Essex have, if they do get through today, and Somerset v Sussex. So all the top four teams are playing against each other tomorrow. So on Sunday, sorry, yeah. In
comes Lamb, clipped away to deep backward square by Allison. He goes to 44, 203 for 5. Essex needing 5 to win. Yeah, so Essex have got 2 more games to play after this. They play Surrey tomorrow, and then their final game is away at the Ageas, and Hampshire aren't quite out of it either, so they've got 2 tricky games. Sussex with Somerset away on Thursday. I mean, that's a hike getting down there, then back here for a game on Friday night against Middlesex.
That's the joys of the schedule, I think, isn't it? So
I mean, that's a 3 in the morning touch back here, isn't it?
Yeah.
In comes Lamb, coming into bowl to Michael Pepper, who hammers that away down the ground for 4 runs. That brings the scores level. He goes to 116. We've seen terrific innings here down the years. We've spoken about David Willey, that wonderful innings from Moeen Ali, and for my money, this has been right up there, Chris.
I mean, yeah, as I say, it's just been class from the ball one, really, and they were under pressure as well. It hasn't been, 210 for kind of 2. He was under pressure. I think this partnership has been one of the better partnerships you'll see in T20 cricket. The way that Allison's come in, he's batting 7, so he is obviously a frontline batter, but kind of batting quite low down. But the way he took it on, the way Pepper took it on early, and the way they dealt with the loss of wickets has been really special. So and that's T20. You've got to put your hands up and say, actually, this has been a really special performance from these 2 guys, and Pepper especially. It's been amazing. So
117 is the partnership. In comes Danny Lamb to bowl to Michael Pepper, and Pepper clips that one away for 4 runs, and that is the end of a brilliant innings from Michael Pepper. He's finished 120 not out, and Essex have won here comfortably by 5 wickets with 10 balls remaining, and the Sussex boys going and shaking hands with Michael Pepper. And I think sometimes, Chris, you'd have known this as a player, you just got to tip your hat to someone who's played brilliantly.
Yeah, you do, and you walk off today, I don't think Sussex have done a huge amount wrong. I thought they've pretty much, probably for 34, 35 overs of the game, they did everything right, but sometimes players play special innings, and I think both these 2 have played special innings. I think Pepper's played the big headline innings, but I've been really impressed with how Allison came in and dealt with that pressure, because that's really difficult to walk in when you're 5 down, facing a big score. So I just think the way they've got about that run chase is you've got to appreciate it and say well played to you guys, and I think the crowd have had a great day. So.
They have. Any sort of, sometimes it happens, as you say, in T20 cricket, any sort of lessons that Sussex can learn out of today, or is it just one of those days?
I generally think it's one of those days. They've been playing great cricket all season. I think the next 2 games are so important, A, to try and get a home quarter final, but B, to get momentum, because the last thing you want to do is have a brilliant group stage and then maybe stutter over the line with 2 losses in the last 3 or something like that. So I think it's really important the next 2 games for Sussex to take a win, or take 2 wins into the quarter-finals for sure.
And a trip down to Somerset on Thursday. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, you'd have played a few games down at Taunton.
They love it down there. They drink the cider and they give you some crap on the boundary. So it's always a great place to play T20 actually. And there's always a packed house down there. And again, I think you've got 4 very good teams vying for those 4 spots. I think it looks like it's going to be Sussex, Surrey, Essex, and Somerset going through. you know, they're 4 very good teams going through. So yeah, you know, I just think there's a lot to be done in the next 2 games to make sure they keep the momentum.